Chapter 870, Going Up the Grave, Purple Energy. The light suddenly turned purple and surprised Jing, Dajiang, and others. This was not normal. At that moment, Baizhu supported the pale-faced Chu Jie and looked up at the sky. They saw the red sun rising from the east, but the crimson morning glow was replaced by purple light. The stars in the sky seemed to sense something, and they gradually calmed down. Baizhu stood dumbfounded in place. Purple energy? Chu Jie seemed to recall something. She knew someone was about to make a move. Even Mr. Tao, who was on the run, was bewildered by the sunrise turning purple. What is that, Tanya asked. Someone maybe try to retrieve those two pearls, Mr. Tao said calmly. Using the heavenly fate misfortune pearl and the earth extreme silent pearl was easy, but retrieving them was extremely difficult. Jing, Dajiang, and others didn't make a move because the appearance of the purple energy was unexpected. After a moment, as the sun rose in the east, the purple energy soared into the sky. The purple energy arrived from the east and covered a distance of 30,000 miles. It pierced through the clouds and enveloped the two pearls. In the next instant, the two pearls disappeared. The terrifying beings that had frightened countless people disappeared, just like that. The sky returned to normal, and there was nothing covering the sky. Jing, Dajiang, and others were stunned. Is it over? They had intended to go all out. It was a false alarm. Many people lacked the confidence to face it. At that moment, the vortex of fate gathered once again. Then it exploded. The fortune merged into the west. There was no more vortex. It seemed that the ancient grudge had been resolved. Everyone stood still. It was too fast and too strange, like a fever dream. Meanwhile, Jiang Hao on the hillside looked at the jade pendant in his hand and couldn't help but sigh. The pendant was fading slowly. In his other hand, he held two purple pearls. One was the heavenly fate misfortune pearl, and the other was the earth extreme silent pearl. Jiang Hao could release them, but he couldn't control them or retrieve them. So, he had to seek help from Hong Yuye. Hong Yuye blessed him with purple energy and crossed the high heavens to reclaim the two pearls. Otherwise, he wouldn't have dared to pull a stunt like this. What he had done was just an attempt to disrupt the vortex of fate. Who would have thought it would cause such a commotion? A slight mistake could have led to his own destruction with the eruption of the heavenly fate misfortune pearl. I shouldn't get involved in such things in the future. He had been lucky this time, but he might end up dead the next time, especially with the end of all things trying to cause havoc everywhere. Why were they so crazy? Jiang Hao bowed to Hong Yuye. Thank you, senior. The air in the west has been tainted by you a lot, Hong Yuye said indifferently. Jiang Hao silently brewed a cup of September spring. Hong Yuye took a sip. He propped her chin on her hand and closed her eyes. Jiang Hao took out a book and began reading. He was reading the Nameless Manual. This time, he didn't use clear and pure heart, but it was still enough for him to understand more of the contents of the book. Maybe he could sense such things because of the jade pendant. He felt that something was about to happen in the Jinshin cliff. Hong Yuye didn't wake up. Jiang Hao hesitated. Then, he decided not to wake her. He focused on reading. 3 days passed just like that. Jiang Hao felt it even more now. He knew that the sage's pages were about to manifest. The sage's pages likely recorded the most crucial aspects of the era. Everyone wanted to take a look at it. Jiang Hao was curious as well, but he knew he couldn't compete with others. If Hong Yuye was present, she might intervene at a critical moment. He wouldn't have many chances. For now, it was better to not do anything. At night, Jiang Hao felt spiritual energy surging in the distance. A powerful impact woke Hong Yuye from her sleep. She glanced at the tea, took a sip, and then looked in the distance. The sage's pages are out, she asked. Yes. Jiang Hao put down the book in his hand. Let's go and take a look. Hong Yuye got up. Jiang Hao nodded and followed her closely. They disappeared from their place. With Hong Yuye leading the way, they moved at a speed Jiang Hao couldn't comprehend. After half a day, he and Hong Yuye appeared in front of a village. The village seemed deserted. Mountain Village was carved on a large rock outside the village entrance. Jiang Hao suddenly remembered the village from Zhang's memories. The village only had stone statues left. It was abandoned. Too much time had passed. After that, he walked in and found an old man crouched in a corner. He was eating something. Seeing Jiang Hao approaching, he instinctively covered the dirty food in front of his chest. Jiang Hao didn't disturb him. He just nodded and continued ahead. On the way, he found 4 people. Each one struggled to survive, just like the first old man he had seen. No matter how difficult it was, nobody wanted to die. Clearly, these people were innocent and wanted just to survive another day. The end of all things was hell-bent on destroying everything, even people like these. Shaking his head, Jiang Hao climbed up the hill and found a grave. It was an ordinary grave. Wild grasses had covered it. The inscriptions on the tombstone were already worn with time. Jiang Hao cleared away the weeds. He then wiped the tombstone with a piece of cloth. After that, he took out an incense and lit it. He then placed it gently in front of the grave. He didn't say anything, but watched quietly. After waiting for some time, he turned and left. At that moment, a middle-aged man appeared at the Jinxing cliff. He looked down and seemed to be lost in thought. Opposite him, Lu Mantian also looked below. He ate spirit stones slowly. There was also an old man sitting under a tree. The 3 of them didn't talk. They just waited patiently. Just then, footsteps sounded behind them. The 3 looked in the direction of the footsteps. They saw an ordinary young man with an ordinary woman. They casually walked toward the cliff. It looked as though the 2 people were out on a casual stroll. However, as they arrived, the cliff shook and some aura affected the surrounding space. The 3 people were surprised. They saw purple energy condensed around them. In an instant, the 3 people realized who the newcomers were. Chapter 871. No one dared to move. Jiang Hao's arrival surprised the 3 individuals. Lu Mantian, who was originally eating spirit stones, paused, and the spirit stone in his hand fell to the ground. He picked up the spirit stones bitterly. The old man suddenly stood up. Purple energy. If he was right, then this person was extraordinary. The middle-aged man looked shocked. Many things had been as he had expected, but the appearance of the fierce creature had changed all that. He couldn't guess what the situation would turn into. This person might be the biggest variable in recent developments. Jiang Hao stepped to the edge of the cliff. He was surprised by the 3 people around him. Their stares made him nervous. To make sure everything went smoothly, he activated a trace of purple energy to intimidate the 3 individuals. Luckily, it seemed to work. Among the 3, Lu Mantian surprised Jiang Hao the most. How could a return to Void Realm cultivator compete for the Sage's pages? There was only one possibility. He might not really be in a return to Void Realm. His true strength was immeasurable. Jiang Hao breathed a sigh of relief. Thankfully, he always treated everyone kindly. Otherwise, it would have been disastrous. "So, it's you again," Lu Mantian said with a bitter smile. "I always found it strange why I kept running into you." Jiang Hao looked at him. He was confused. "When did you find out about me?" Lu Mantian asked. Jiang Hao chuckled. "Senior, you think I'm here for you. Are you here to find me?" Lu Mantian asked cautiously. Jiang Hao shook his head. "Did you know it was me from the beginning?" Lu Mantian asked. "I don't even know who you are." Jiang Hao could only pretend not to know. "I have only one question, and then I will leave." "Well, if you are here to kill me, I have nothing much to say," said Lu Mantian. Jiang Hao sighed. He had been waiting for Lu Mantian to reveal his identity. The 2 people beside them were also curious. They didn't know anything about these 2, but they listened quietly. Sometimes listening was all it took to find out everything. "Sure, ask away," Jiang Hao said. Lu Mantian hesitated. "Are you really Gu Jin?" The middle-aged man narrowed his eyes and looked at Jiang Hao in disbelief. "Gu Jin? How is that possible?" The old man was also shocked. Jiang Hao looked at Lu Mantian. He never expected him to ask that. If it was any other time, Jiang Hao would have admitted truthfully. But things were now complicated because of the purple energy. Otherwise, he could have said that Jing and Gu Jin were acquainted. What was needed right now wasn't to clear up everything, but to make it more confusing. Gu Jin's identity sometimes served as a layer of protection. Under Lu Mantian's tense gaze, Jiang Hao shook his head. I just have some connection to him. So, you're not Gu Jin? Lu Mantian asked again. Jiang Hao smiled. We agreed on only one question. Lu Mantian was taken aback. He then turned and left. If the person behind him wanted to attack, he had nothing to say. But how would Jiang Hao dare to make a move? A person who was related to Gu Jin was not someone he could mess with. If he made a move, his identity would be revealed. And that wouldn't be good for Sage's pages. Now, he had the power of purple energy and the blessing of Gu Jin. So, Lu Mantian couldn't touch him. There was no one daring to make a move against him. Perhaps obtaining the Sage's pages would be easy. After Lu Mantian left, there were 3 groups left on the scene. I am Shan Qinghe, the first master of the Heavenly Tower. We heard about your contribution. It's truly astonishing, said Shan Qinghe with a smile. The first master of Heavenly Tower? Jiang Hao hadn't expected to meet him here. The old man beside him was also the same. It was impossible to even guess how powerful they were. I am Ing Feiyu from the Heavenly Tower, Ing Feiyu said politely. Heavenly Tower? Jiang Hao thought for a moment and realized that people from the east had all gathered here. It made sense. After all, they were from overseas. I am Gu, Jiang Hao said calmly. He still didn't reveal his full name. In the present situation, it was best to keep these people guessing. This way, his chances of winning would be higher. Later, he couldn't make a move himself, or problems would arise. It depended on whether Hong Yuye would attempt to compete too. At that moment, under the Jinshin Cliff, there was a continuous surge of spiritual energy, as if there were endless hidden currents below. Do you know the origin of the Jinshin Cliff? Asked Shan Qinghe. Wasn't there once a powerful individual who attained enlightenment here? Asked Ing Feiyu. That's just a common rumor. Shan Qinghe shook his head. According to records, the Dragon Clan once established a dragon's nest in the west. The dragon's nest was originally on the surface of mountains and rivers, but later it went through some transformation. The dragon's nest went underground after that. When the mountains stabilized, it became the current Jinshin Cliff. Ing Feiyu was quite surprised. Although Jiang Hao showed no emotion on his face, he was surprised too. The area beneath the Jinshin Cliff was the dragon's nest. It might be related to Shaoli. He wanted to go down and take a look, but with so many people around, he couldn't just rush away. The first master of Heavenly Tower also dared not act recklessly. The fact of the dragon's nest was hard to verify. Dragon's nest? Ing Feiyu asked curiously. Why not go down and take a look? Shan Qinghe shook his head. Only those who have the fortune of the West, or are of the Dragon Clan, can enter it. At present, it seems that there are only 4 people who can go down. Those were the 4 people who obtained the Jade Pendant. Jiang Hao lowered his head. He couldn't see anything. He had no intention of going down. If possible, he wanted to bring Shaoli here. Unfortunately, it was too far away. He couldn't bring her here, even with the 9 golden rings. Hong Yuye had mentioned before that one had to be prepared to face danger when teleporting to faraway places. Although Shaoli was a member of the Dragon Clan, she was ultimately just a young dragon. After that, no one spoke. Jiang Hao remained calm. The dragon's nest didn't tempt him much. If it weren't for Shaoli, he wouldn't even bother. If it involved legendary races, there must be dangers that a small cultivator like him couldn't be involved in. As time passed, Jiang Hao began to feel that something was trying to break free. Suddenly, he was curious. Was there a connection between the Sage's pages and the Dragon Clan? Otherwise, why would they appear here? Just as he was thinking about it, there was a sound of hidden currents. It sounded like a surging sea. Although he didn't see anything, images formed in his mind. The sea roared, and something emerged from the endless waves. Then it rushed toward the sky. Boom! Golden light flashed and soared into the sky. The 4 people looked up. Shan Qinghe and the others were ready to fight it. However, when they saw Jiang Hao standing in place, they chose not to fight. They also waited. Chapter 872. Contents of the Sage's pages. The golden light shimmered, but didn't bring about any change. Apart from the sound, there was nothing else. The sky was clear, the wind was gentle, and the sun was bright. The golden light was soft. If people didn't know it was the sage's pages, those passing by wouldn't even glance at it. After a short time, the light dissipated. A white, metallic page appeared in midair. None of the three people stepped forward. Jiang Hao dared not make a move either. The other two hesitated. They wanted to act, but they were reluctant to do so when they saw Jiang Hao standing still. They didn't dare to act, especially after seeing the appearance of the heavenly fate misfortune pearl and the earth extreme silent pearl. Although they knew that those pearls wouldn't explode anymore, they were still fearful. There was no need to make a fool of oneself. After all, everyone was here just to see the sage's pages. Things could be resolved peacefully. Friend, you first. Shanqinga looked at Jiang Hao. Indeed, friend Gu, you should go first, said Ing Feiyu. Jiang Hao breathed a sigh of relief. If not for the appearance of the great vortex, things might not have gone so smoothly. Without hesitation, he made a gesture, and the sage's places flew toward him. It landed in his hands. At that moment, text began to appear on the blank pages. Not only Jiang Hao, but also Hong Yuya was curious about the contents of the page. As the text appeared, Jiang Hao read it. The heavens reward those who work hard. That was the first line. Looking further down, Jiang Hao saw the second line, but he couldn't read it. The same happened with the third line. When he looked again, he found that all the words had disappeared. Jiang Hao looked at the people around him with some surprise. The others looked calm. How do you feel, friend Gu? Shan Qinghe curiously asked. Jiang Hao tossed the pages to Shan Qinghe. Senior, take a look and you'll know. The others sighed in relief. It would indeed be troublesome if it turned out to be nothing. After a short time, Shan Qinghe nodded and then threw the page to Ing Feiyu. Both of them looked at Ing Feiyu to see his reaction. However, the result disappointed Jiang Hao. At that moment, Ing Feiyu looked at the text and nodded. He seemed to be deep in thought. Finally, he handed the page to Jiang Hao. Thanks, friend Gu. Since I have finished reading the contents, I won't hold on to it for longer than necessary. With that, he turned and left. Well, I won't linger either. This trip was indeed successful, Shan Qinghe said with a smile. Before leaving, he turned to Jiang Hao. If you ever come overseas, you can visit Heavenly Tower. It'll express my hospitality and gratitude. As soon as he finished speaking, Shan Qinghe stepped out and disappeared. Jiang Hao was quite puzzled. Did these people really understand the contents of the page, or were they just pretending? Anyway, he remembered only one phrase. The heavens reward those who work hard. Fortunately, the pages were in his hands, and he could appraise it. Senior, what was your impression? Jiang Hao asked. What did you see? Hong Ye looked up and asked. After explaining everything, Jiang Hao looked at her and waited for her response. Hong Ye lowered her head in thought, but didn't speak. After a moment, Hong Ye said, This time, the sage's pages are a bit strange. Strange? Jiang Hao asked, but there was no response. It seemed he had to go back and appraise it himself. What came after the one phrase that he could read? Usually, the ancient pages had a record of something. Maybe about the heavenly fate misfortune pearl or earth extreme silent pearl. But he couldn't read anything else after the first sentence. He didn't even understand what it meant. Jiang Hao asked about Lu Mantion. Senior, do you know who he is? Hong Ye glanced at him strangely and left. He wondered who would be afraid of him that much. He had only ever met the corpse in the vortex. Jiang Hao broke into a cold sweat. Senior, is he the avatar of that corpse? Jiang Hao asked. This one is alive, Hong Ye said calmly. You mean revive? Jiang Hao didn't understand. It's different, but such people always have some means unknown to others, Hong Ye said indifferently. Jiang Hao breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, he didn't have the habit of offending people for nothing. Otherwise, Lu Mantion would have killed him. Jiang Hao didn't rush back. Instead, he planned to find a place to wipe off the rust on the magical treasures. Jiang Hao suddenly realized why the treasures were so rusty. It meant that the treasures might be from someone's grave. It turned out they belonged to the corpses. A few days later, Jiang Hao successfully found the city. After that, many people discussed the phenomenon of the twin suns. Many people had witnessed that phenomenon. It is said that the sage's pages manifested right then, said someone. I have a good friend who heard people from the academy saying so. Really? Someone else asked. Why would I deceive you? Asked the person. My friend is at the peak of his strength, and he is legendary. If it were false, how could the army of corpses retreat? The retreat of the army of corpses was something everyone had witnessed. It might be true that the sages might have intervened. Jiang Hao listened. He felt somewhat embarrassed. The reality was far from being that impressive. After finding an inn to stay in, Jiang Hao hid in his room and took out the rusty treasures. He began to wipe them. He didn't know how many blue bubbles he would get. This trip turned out to be profitable. More importantly, he had gained a deeper understanding of the realms. This was crucial for future developments, especially for an immortal. After understanding the realms, he gained a bit of clarity about everything. It seemed like the mists had dissipated. The benefits given to him by the West were immeasurable. Going to the South, Chu Jie was surprised. Yeah, it's safer to go to the South, at least more than the West, said Baizhu. They were currently in a village. Baizhu had rented a place. She was taking care of Chu Jie, at least until she healed. I can't go to the South. Chu Jie shook her head. Why? Is there something wrong there? Baizhu asked. Well, there's something not right. I'm from the South. There's an important person in the South. If I go there and meet them, it won't be good, said Chu Baizhu was surprised. Don't you want to see them? Chu Jie shook her head. No, it's just that he doesn't want to see me now. It's not the right time to meet him. What? Baizhu asked. Chu Jie thought for a moment. I think he still needs time, so I can't go. Otherwise, he might not have enough time. The world is small. I might run into him there. Baizhu was amazed. Who could mean so much to someone at the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment realm? It seemed like they were of the same age. Could someone really be compared to someone with Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment? In Baizhu's opinion, even the Grand Earth Emperor was no match for her. Chapter 873. Appraising the sages' pages this time, the treasures were not as precious as before. The first time he bought them, there was a sword embryo, but this time there was nothing of that level. However, they weren't ordinary either. There were a total of 7 treasures. The shield and armor were the largest and were the most difficult to clean. When wiping the shield, some white bubbles fell out. Strength +1, spirit +1. He was halfway through wiping but found no blue bubbles. Fortunately, when he was almost done, 1 blue bubble appeared. Lifeblood +1, cultivation +1. He got 4 blue bubbles from the shield. The gains weren't too bad. Next was the longsword. There was a hint of sword intent there, and he could try to activate the sword embryo. This time, he got 3 blue bubbles. He wiped the remaining 5 treasures. There were no surprises this time. In total, he got 18 bubbles. He had wiped 7 treasures and gotten 18 bubbles. It wasn't as many as last time, but it was still great. After that, Jiang Hao looked at his interface. Name, Jiang Hao. Age, 38. Cultivation realm. Early stage of the Immortal Ascension platform. Cultivation method. Heavenly Sound 100 revolutions. Hong Ming Heart Sutra. Divine ability. 9 revolutions. Death substitution. Unique. Daily appraisal. Clear and pure heart. Reappearance of hidden spirit. Divine might. Revival of withered tree. Heavenly cauldron. Indestructible Vajra. Lifeblood. 82/100 can be cultivated. Cultivation. 80/100 can be cultivated. Divine abilities. 2/3 cannot be obtained. Jiang Hao felt quite sentimental. He was already at 80 points. He wasn't that far from advancing to the next stage. He had advanced to the early stage of the Immortal Ascension platform at the age of 36. That was 2 years ago. It had taken him 2 years to reach this stage. It was quite difficult to advance. Jiang Hao took out the sage's pages. It was time to praise them. He activated his divine ability. Ancient sage's pages, the mark of the era. It is interwoven by karma and records the most remarkable things in this era. It will affect the progress of heaven and earth. The contents of this page have been taken away. The karmic aura is slow, so it's difficult to pry into the contents of the pages. Jiang Hao is somewhat surprised. What does it mean taken away? The Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment had already appeared. So what remarkable thing had yet to happen? What would be the most outstanding thing in this era then? The heavens reward those who work hard. Jiang Hao remembered the first sentence. He shook his head. He didn't understand what was going on. If the contents of the page were difficult to peer into, did the first master of the heavenly tower and the others really see it? Jiang Hao, no. Even if it meant it was difficult to peer into, it might still be possible. Perhaps he could peer into the content. With his current knowledge, he couldn't see anything yet. Jiang Hao closed his eyes and began to refine his cultivation. He decided to sell some items tomorrow and then return. The trip had been very fruitful. Early the next morning, Jiang Hao received a message on the stone tablet. There was a gathering tonight. It seemed that Senior Dan Yuan was very well informed. At noon, he went to the city's largest treasure store. "What treasures do you want, fellow disciple?" asked the woman at the counter. Jiang Hao calmly said, "I'm here to sell treasures." "Sorry, we don't." Before she could finish her sentence, Jiang Hao's return to Void Realm aura manifested. The woman, who was only at the Golden Core realm, felt terrified. She quickly said, "Please come inside, Senior." Jiang Hao met a strong expert at the return to Void Realm inside. Jiang Hao released the Immortal Ascension platform aura and suppressed the return to Void aura. Soon, the person addressed him politely and asked what he wanted to sell. The treasures were extraordinary, so Jiang Hao had to find someone with a high cultivation realm. Otherwise, it wouldn't be possible to sell them at a good price. Firstly, Jiang Hao sold 10,000 spirit swords. He made a profit of 40,000 spirit stones. After that, Jiang Hao bought the first set of treasures he purchased and the two other special treasures. He sold them for a total of 150,000 spirit stones. He now had 200,000 spirit stones. Suddenly, he was wealthy again. It seemed that Lu Mantian had really been his benefactor. He now had a sword, embryo, shield, longsword, 2 gold rings, and a robe that needed to be sold. If he could sell them all, he would get a lot of spirit stones. However, these treasures were damaged, and he needed to repair them before selling them. "Do you repair magical treasures here?" Jiang Hao asked. "Of course." The middle-aged man nodded. Jiang Hao handed the robe to him and asked if it could be repaired. After inspecting it, the man said, "I can do a simple repair, but a complete restoration of this robe would be very challenging." Jiang Hao took out 2 gold rings and asked the same question. The cost of repairing the 3 treasures would be about 20,000 spirit stones. The shield needed to be completely rebuilt. Rebuilding can be very expensive. The starting rate is 100,000 spirit stones and will take 3 months, said the man. Jiang Hao sighed. It was not only expensive, but also time-consuming. The pickaxe could still be used. He decided to buy a new one if it got damaged. It shouldn't cost too many spirit stones. Jiang Hao returned to the inn. His journey and purpose in the West were at an end. He had done everything that needed to be done. It had been an adventure without much risk. He had gained quite a lot as well. He had obtained many bubbles, the sage's pages, and treasures. "Senior?" Jiang Hao knocked on Hong Yui's door. She didn't respond. He pushed open the door. He saw Hong Yui sitting by the window. She was looking out and was lost in thought. Jiang Hao walked to her and looked outside the window. He didn't see anything striking. "Are you heading back?" Hong Yui asked. "Yes." Jiang Hao nodded. "Let's go then." Hong Yui stood up. Jiang Hao looked at her and nodded. He didn't know how she intended to go back. After hesitating for a moment, he reached out and tried to take her hand. Hong Yui looked at him carefully and extended her hand in response. The two disappeared on the spot. Jiang Hao had already paid for the room in full, so it would be no trouble for the innkeeper. No news at all. Jing Dajiang sighed. He wanted to find that person, but he couldn't find him anywhere. It was as if he had disappeared from the world entirely. The chef of the noodle shop is back at the shop. She said the special fortune has disappeared, and the merging of the ancient and modern worlds is at an end. She also said that Gu Jin's trace has disappeared completely, said the bearded old man. Jing Dajiang felt quite regretful. He felt like he should have asked the questions when he had the chance. He had assumed they would meet again. Who knew the person would be gone without even a goodbye in the end? It might be another 100 or 1,000 years before they met again. Unfortunately, it was a farewell without warning. Chapter 874. In not going to the Heavenly Notes sect, in the Heavenly Notes sect, two figures appeared in the wooden house that was Jiang Hao's place. It was Jiang Hao and Hong Yuye. Jiang Hao immediately let go of Hong Yuye's hand. He left a ring in the western region. It was covered with Hong Yuye's power, so it could be left there for now. It was far away, so it was convenient to leave it there. However, he was short of golden rings. He had a total of 8 sub-rings and 1 main ring. 1 for the courtyard, 1 for Shaoli, another for Spirit Beast, 1 for the Corpse Realm, 1 for Hong Yuye, 1 for the western region, and 1 that he kept with himself. That accounted for 6 of the rings. He only had 2 that he could use. He needed to think about it carefully, especially when using it to kill someone. It wouldn't be as easy. Go prepare the bath, said Hong Yuye. Jiang Hao didn't dare to hesitate. After preparing the bath, Hong Yuye entered it. Jiang Hao sat at the door. He had made sure everything was neat. It seemed that Shaoli had cleaned it in his absence. In the courtyard, he found that the peach tree had already borne fruit. Quite a few of the fruits were gone. He plucked one and tasted it. It was even sweeter than before. After so many incarnations, the only change in the fruit was its sweetness. There were almost no other changes. It still grew like an ordinary fruit tree. Time passed quickly, and midnight approached. Jiang Hao sat in the courtyard and waited for the gathering to begin. The call for gathering meant something important was going to happen or had already happened. At midnight, Jiang Hao entered the public area. He had been here many times, but it felt incredible every time. He needed to find a mastermind behind the stone tablets. That was what Hong Yuye was after. So far, there were no clues. Jiang Hao noticed that Zhang wasn't there this time. She might be advancing to another realm. It was evident that breaking through to the Immortal Ascension platform was no joke. It was unfortunate for those who had missed their opportunity before. Not everyone could open the path to immortality. The situation with Shang had been extraordinary. For a while, the number of people at the gathering returned to what it was before Zhang. Greetings, Senior. The 4 people bowed to Senior Dan Yuan. Any issues with your cultivation? Dan Yuan asked. No one spoke. Zhang had officially embarked on the path to immortality. Gu asked, did Zhang succeed? Xing and Lu were also very curious. After all, they were all partners in this group. They were quite concerned for each other. Dan Yuan smiled. Zhang has passed the most difficult period. It is unlikely that there will be any accidents. Everyone was surprised. There was suddenly a lot of pressure. Although no one explicitly mentioned their cultivation realm, they assumed they were at a similar level. But now, since one of them was advancing to the Immortal Ascension platform, the others felt the pressure. Jiang Hao was not under much pressure. He always kept things friendly with everyone. He didn't interact with them much and kept himself mysterious. What he lacked most now was time. After going out once, he found that his current cultivation realm was still not enough in certain situations. It was better to stay in the Heavenly Notes sect. The sage's pages are gone, so the task is at an end, said Dan Yuan. He looked at Xing. The thing you asked for is at the Jinxin Cliff. If you need anything else, you only need to ask. Xing hesitated for a moment and decided to wait a bit longer. Dan Yuan had no objections. Later, he asked about Old Man Corpse C. However, no one in the gathering knew his location. After the transaction with Senior Dan Yuan ended, Gu spoke up. I don't have anything in particular. Do any of you have something to discuss? I finished my transaction with Lu and currently have nothing on my plate, Xing said. Lu shook his head. He knew that Gu wanted to talk about other matters, and he felt the same way too. They needed to understand what had happened in the Western region first. Since there was no more trade to do, they went straight into casual conversation. Gu said, did you all witness that big battle? The one with the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment was defeated in... She looked at Jing. Lu did the same. Xing was curious. What exactly happened? I'm in the east, and I don't really understand what happened. Later, the Earth Extreme Silent Pearl and the Heavenly Fate Misfortune Pearl appeared. It entered the vortex of the west. It occupied the entire western sky. The true dragons turned into twin suns and covered the entire sky, said Gui. Xing was surprised. The western region was truly in danger this time. Then he looked at Jing. He had both the pearls. Jing finally said, I am acting on someone else's behalf. Everyone was surprised. The information was overwhelming. Gui thought for a moment. Do you know Gu Jin? Jiang Hao didn't respond. I heard the corpse ended up dead, said Gui. He still has an avatar. Jiang Hao's voice was low. Letting these people know about the avatar would give Lu Mantian something to deal with. It would create problems later. Surpassing that enemy wasn't possible in the near future. Gui and others took note of it. It would be useful to see that information. They didn't know who it was, and it was not easy to ask Jing. If Zhang were here, she would definitely ask about it. At this point, Dan Yuan said, Jing, do you know who the avatar is? Lu Mantian, Jiang Hao said. He had been waiting for someone to ask the question. Gui disappointed him this time by not asking the most important question. When Senior Dan Yuan asked if he had any questions, Jiang Hao shook his head. Xing thought for a moment. Who finally obtained the sage's pages? It's with me, said Jing. Gui and others were surprised. Why did everything seem to be with Jing? But when they thought about it, it made sense that Jing was involved. He had 2 deadly pearls on him, after all. Jing, can you tell us what was in the pages? Xing asked. You can also state what kind of reward you need in advance. The gathering was naturally a place for trade. Anything could be traded. However, Jiang Hao shook his head. If you want to see it, you can have it. Xing thought for a moment and looked at Gui. The latter looked puzzled. She didn't want to go to the Heavenly Note sect. Chapter 875. Is it for Shaoli? Gui, are you going back to the south? Xing asked. It would take too long to travel from east to south. It was better not to go. Gui, on the other hand, was from the south. It would be much more convenient for her to go to the south. Jing, you are still in the west, right? Lu asked. Jiang Hao shook his head. I have already left the west. He did not say where he was. As for the sage's pages, it remained in Jiang Hao's hands in the Heavenly Note sect. The reason why Xing sought out Gui was because of that. Only Gui had traded with Jiang Hao before, so it was the most convenient. Do you want me to bring it directly to the east? Gui asked. She didn't want to go to the Heavenly Note sect, but she didn't want to refuse. The rewards usually were good for these kinds of jobs. She might even be able to see the contents of the sage's pages for free. Secondly, she could get many benefits from it. This kind of opportunity was rare. If Jing is willing, you can just tell me the contents of the pages, said Xing. Jiang Hao didn't mind. Sure. He nodded. Gui could find Jiang Hao in the Heavenly Note sect. Gui was curious about who possessed the Heavenly Fate Misfortune Pearl this time. Being able to see the contents of the sage's pages was still a pleasant surprise. What reward do you want, Gui? Xing asked. Another set of the Heavenly Bestowed technique from the Heavenly Spirit tribe, Gui said. Xing nodded. He asked Jiang Hao what he needed. After thinking for a moment, Jiang Hao said, let's discuss it next time. He didn't have anything he wanted right now. Moreover, he had to wait until the trade was complete. There was still plenty of time, and there was no rush. Jiang Hao said, there might be a dragon's nest beneath the Jinshin cliff. The others were surprised, especially Lu. He had gone to the west for the dragon's nest. He had given up and left, but unexpectedly, he had learned about the location. But to go down, you need someone with the Jade Pendant of Fortune or a member of the Dragon Clan. Jiang Hao said. Lu looked at Gui. Do you have a way to go down? I want to obtain a book from the dragon's nest. I might. Gui nodded. What do you want in exchange? Lu asked. All information about the Heavenly Spirit tribe. The more detailed, the better, Gui said. Since she was going to the Heavenly Spirit tribe, she needed all the information she could get. Okay, they'll get it for you. Lu nodded. Jiang Hao was surprised that there were actually 2 people asking about the Heavenly Spirit tribe. The only reason he had disclosed the information was to see if someone could go down and take a look. The incident shocked everyone in the West. They were all discussing it. After the discussion, the gathering was at an end. Jiang Hao opened his eyes in the courtyard. He took out a book to record the event. The task of the sage's pages was complete. The remaining task was to find out about Old Man Corpse C. He had a pending reward from Xing for the sage's pages. Gui might arrive in the sect in a few years. Lu seemed quite interested in the information about the dragon's nest. He asked Gui to check too. There wasn't much else worth recording. In theory, Zhang also owed him a reward. Unfortunately, she was in the process of advancement, and it was uncertain when that would end. After putting away the pen and books, Jiang Hao sighed. The affairs in the West were considered complete. It had little to do with him. The dragon's nest and the sage's pages needed time to reveal their answers. There was no need to pay too much attention to them right now. In the days to come, he would focus on living an ordinary life in the sect. He wanted to take care of the spirit herb garden during the day, make talismans, and study the nameless manual at night. This time, he had a deep understanding of the realms, so he could help Lin Ji and Chang Chou. As for Chu Chuan, he had already left the mountain. His path was bound to be extraordinary, so he would figure it out on his own. It was unknown what he would achieve. Besides, it would be impossible for him to reach the East in just a few hundred years. In a few years, the one with the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment would have become an immortal. Moreover, she would become someone with great fortune. Surpassing someone like that was nearly impossible. The chances available to normal cultivators, the things they could perceive, and the opportunities they could encounter in the world were limited. But the one with the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment was born with talent and gift. No matter how many opportunities one had, it was impossible to surpass her. Zhang, for example, was at least 400 to 500 years old. Chu Chuan's talent and opportunities were far less than others. For him to become an immortal, it would take at least 700 to 800 years, or even 1,000 years. On the other hand, someone like Chu Jia with the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment would only need a little over 200 years at most. Chu Chuan's journey would be very difficult. If he could meet him during the next trip, it would be good to check in on him. Jiang Hao picked a peach and took a bite. "Is it sweet?" asked a sudden voice from behind. Jiang Hao quickly turned to see Hong Yuye in a red dress. "I was just tasting it. It's quite delicious," he said as he handed it to Hong Yuye. "This one is sweeter. What if it's not sweet?" Hong Yuye took the peach and smiled. "Then he'll eat it." Jiang Hao lowered his head. Hong Yuye took a bite and then looked at him. "Do you think it's sweet or sour?" Jiang Hao didn't know how to answer. "It should be sweet." Hong Yuye glanced at him and sat down. "There are quite a few things in your courtyard." "They are all yours, senior," Jiang Hao said respectfully. Hong Yuye chuckled. After that, they continued to eat peaches. "Did you attend the gathering?" "Yes." Jiang Hao nodded. Then, he began to talk about the situation at the gathering. He told her about Old Man Corpse C and Sage's pages. Hong Yuye listened attentively. When he mentioned the dragon's nest, Hong Yuye asked, "Are you paying attention to that because of Shaoli?" Jiang Hao nodded. "Did you feel anything when you approached the Jinshin Cliff?" Hong Yuye asked. "Feel anything?" Jiang Hao thought carefully and shook his head. No, he hadn't felt anything strange. Hong Yuye didn't say anything. Jiang Hao recalled the events from the gathering. Is it because the Dragon Clan is about to appear? People from Clear Sky School are also looking for the dragon's location. It seems the same overseas. You have a dragon here. Why don't you think the Dragon Clan could have actually appeared? Hong Yuye smiled. If others are looking for dragons, wouldn't they find their way here? Jiang Hao was stunned. He hadn't thought about that. Shaoli was a true dragon, and she also had a dragon pearl. If others were on a hunt for dragons, it wouldn't be impossible for them to find their way here. It seemed that he needed to pay close attention to it. Next time, he could ask Xing to find out more about the information Clear Sky School had on dragons. Chapter 876. Finding 3 mistresses for the master late at night. Hong Yuye slept on Jiang Hao's bed. On the balcony, Jiang Hao looked at the moon outside. Now that he had seen Zhang's inner demon, he was concerned. He felt quite emotional. When his cultivation realm was weak, he never went looking for danger. But his cultivation realm was high now. With various magical treasures, it wouldn't be a big problem to venture out. At 38, almost approaching 39, he was considered middle-aged among ordinary people. In the cultivation world, it was rare for ordinary folks to live past 50. He might never find the people he wanted to find ever again. It was quite disappointing. Meeting them again might bring benefits for him. It was only a wish. Jiang Hao muttered. Ascending to immortality was still a distant goal for him, and he had encountered very few true immortals. He had never faced the true might of an immortal. If he had, perhaps he would already be dead. It was better to avoid powerful individuals. After venturing out, he was now certain that the Heavenly Notes sect wasn't the most dangerous place in the cultivation world. In the East or the West, some powerful individuals would be out for his blood. However, in the South, everyone knew about the Heavenly Fate Misfortune Pearl and the Earth Extreme Silent Pearl. There was no place in the world that was completely safe. Fortunately, the East and the West were both under his control. The Nine Nether was dangerous, but it was lucky that it feared him. In a while, I can entrust the Nine Nether to Shaoli again. Jiang Hao closed his eyes and rested. It had been a long time since he had visited the Hundred Bones Forest. He decided to check in on Bai Yi. The next morning, when Jiang Hao came out of his cultivation, Hong Yuye had already left. He sighed in relief and went to water the plants in his courtyard. He hadn't been here for almost 3 months, but the growth of the heavenly fragrance Dao flower was as healthy as ever. Although it had some buds, there was nothing beyond that. After channeling purple energy for a while, he stood up and left. When he reached the entrance of the courtyard, he found the spirit beast lying on the ground with a swollen face. He didn't know when it had returned. He took out the half-moon blade and poked the beast gently. The spirit beast suddenly opened its eyes. Then it covered its face and wailed. "Master, I knew you had returned. My friends told me." Jiang Hao chuckled. "Your friends are really well informed." At that moment, the spirit beast looked up at Jiang Hao. "Is it really you, Master? Has anything happened to the sect in these few months?" Jiang Hao asked. "Some people came to look for you. That woman who eats people. The one who eats people?" Jiang Hao thought for a moment. "Ah, Senior Sister Ming, E." The spirit beast didn't remember her name. Senior Sister Ming, E might be in the middle stage of the Golden Core realm. She was a dangerous person. It had been many years since he last saw her, and he didn't know what she was planning. "Master, it has been so many years. Why don't you have any mistresses?" asked the spirit beast. Jiang Hao remained calm. "Master, do you want me to find someone for you?" "He'll find one. Shaoli will help. Chung Cho and the others will help too. We can find you 3, said the spirit beast excitedly. "That way, everyone will be satisfied. If you're not satisfied, I can find one for you myself. You'll have 4 in total. My friends will help me. It's no problem." The spirit beast patted its chest. Jiang Hao looked at it. The beast really did care about him. At that time, the golden ring appeared in his hand. "Your gift." The beast's face lit up. It then put the ring on its other hand. Now it had 2 rings on each of its hands and a collar on its neck. The 3 accessories spun. The spirit beast then threw them into the water. It jumped after them and swam away. It then jumped up through the rings joyfully. Jiang Hao didn't pay much attention to it. He headed to the spirit herb garden. There was no rush to report the completion of his mission. After all, the find was not that big. Jiang Hao saw Chung Cho when he arrived. "Senior brother Jiang, you're back," said Chung Cho excitedly. "Anything happened in the spirit herb garden?" Jiang Hao asked. "Not anything big, just small matters," said Chung Cho. He looked a little helpless. "It's the same as before. Since you've been gone, the people from the Candlelight Pill Pavilion have gone back to their old ways. Now that you are here, they might do better." Jiang Hao displayed his cultivation in the middle stage of the Golden Core realm. "Is it still the Foundation Establishment Alchemist?" he asked. Chung Cho nodded. "Besides that, has anything else happened recently?" Jiang Hao asked. Chung Cho thought for a moment. "The people from the Heavenly Saint sect are expected to retaliate. There were some infiltrators. Many spirit herb gardens have also been damaged to some extent. Since we haven't added more people here, we're fine for now. Lord Beast is also keeping an eye out. There is a person who tried to mess with ordinary people, but Lord Beast caught him. Thanks to you, Senior Brother Jiang, we're all safe." Under Lord Beast's guidance, Shaoli also captured an important spy. I heard the spy was very strong, but she captured him. It was thanks to Lord Beast's help. Who got the credit for that? Jiang Hao asked. Most of it went to you, senior brother, Cheng Cho said. Jiang Hao frowned. It seemed that Lord Beast and Shaoli were causing trouble for him again. He couldn't do anything rash for now. But there's one problem, Cheng Cho said. The spy from the Heavenly Saints sect, who was caught, insisted on meeting you. He claimed that you betrayed him, and he wanted to expose you. Jiang Hao was speechless. It seemed that the beast had done its part wonderfully. Senior brother Jiang, you're back. Shaoli shouted in excitement. She ran to him joyfully with the spirit beast in her arms. She looked at Jiang Hao in anticipation. It seemed she had found out about the ring he had given to the spirit beast and wanted one too. But she didn't know how to ask for it. Jiang Hao handed her a golden ring. Is this for me? Shaoli asked excitedly. Yeah. Jiang Hao nodded. Thank you, senior brother Jiang. Shaoli jumped up excitedly. She gave Jiang Hao some jujubes. Here. For you, senior brother Jiang. Jiang Hao tried one. It tasted good. Then he looked at Cheng Cho. It's been a long time since you advanced to the middle stage, right? Just a few years, Cheng Cho said in embarrassment. This time, I'll explain it to you from the beginning. If you have any questions, ask me. It might help you refine your realm. The Golden Core realm may be within reach, said Jiang Hao matter-of-factly. Chapter 877. Old Sea Corpse Man thinks the South is safe. Jiang Hao was about to explain, and Cheng Cho was naturally very happy to listen. However, it was the first time senior brother Jiang had spoken so seriously. Moreover, he mentioned the Golden Core realm. Cheng Cho dared not be negligent. From the lifeblood refinement realm to the middle stage of the foundation establishment realm, Cheng Cho asked, You are still in the middle stage right now. I can't go into details for the later stages. I can only give a rough explanation. When you reach the late stage, I will explain more to you again, Jiang Hao said. Cheng Cho nodded in gratitude. After that, Jiang Hao walked inside. At that moment, two lifeblood refinement realm disciples exchanged glances. They were wondering whether they could follow and listen. I heard that senior brother Jiang is proficient in the blood wish path. What exactly is the blood wish path? I only know that senior brother Cheng Cho isn't very highly regarded. Everyone said that he had no hope of reaching the foundation establishment realm, but he is now in the middle stage of the foundation establishment realm. What about us? The two disciples thought that if it could help them, the blood wish path wasn't really that wrong. The two quickly followed. They wanted to hear the explanation from the other side. In the Spirit Her Garden, in front of a simple pavilion, Jiang Hao sat at his usual spot, and Cheng Cho sat near him and listened. Let's start from the very beginning with the lifeblood refinement realm. Absorb the faint spiritual energy and gradually adapt. This is the most basic cultivation method. After cultivation, sensing spiritual energy becomes commonplace. Few people experience the process. Today, I will help you understand this process. Establishing the foundation, nurturing the essence, and building a solid foundation will pave the way for future achievements. Jiang Hao explained slowly and clearly. But as it progressed, Cheng Cho became even more confused. He knew it was due to his limited talent. However, diligence could compensate for a lack of skill, so he made sure to note down all the key points. Jiang Hao looked at Cheng Cho, not continuing his topic, but waiting for him to finish recording. If he couldn't remember, it had to be noted down. Otherwise, wouldn't everything be in vain? As Jiang Hao explained, the others followed in excitement. The shackles that bound them were completely shattered, and they unexpectedly broke through to the 6th level of the lifeblood refinement realm. Others benefited immensely. Over time, more people came, and they quietly listened in without asking more questions. Most were in the lifeblood refinement, but there were also groups of 3 or 2 in the foundation establishment realm. Some other people observed from a distance. However, seeing one breakthrough after another, they couldn't restrain themselves. They'll go listen in too. A 9th level lifeblood refinement realm cultivator hesitated for a long time, but walked over. He had already prepared a foundation establishment pill, but he still wasn't confident. His friend wanted to hold him back, but ultimately gave up. After a short time, he He suddenly gained enlightenment, swallowed the foundation-building pill, and broke through on the spot. His friend, who was looking from afar, found it unbelievable. He hesitated for a long time, but didn't go over. Just as he approached, he heard senior brother John calmly say, "That's it for today. Go back and study. If you have any questions, come and ask me." The session ended, and those who had just arrived left in a daze. Jiang Hao didn't care about them. Whether it was the blood wish path or something else, he was just explaining things to Chang Cho. Others could listen if they wanted. After all, he only talked about lifeblood refinement realm and foundation establishment realm. Perhaps many people felt that he was only researching the blood wish path, and only those with weak cultivation would be most likely to become his blood wish path disciples. After everyone dispersed, Jiang Hao began to manage the spirit herb garden. He was only 3 months away, but it felt like it had been a long time. Every time he went out, he felt that. When he finished his work, it was already evening. After hesitating, he went to the task hall. The senior sister at the task hall welcomed him warmly. Jiang Hao was curious. If he told her that he had fulfilled the task successfully, would her face change? "Junior brother Jiang, has the mission been completed?" she asked. Jiang Hao shook his head. "It's okay." She smiled. "It's a bit of a shame, but it's all right. You could take easier missions and still venture out for 2 months more. Although you are still on the suspect list, we have other ways to help you." Jiang Hao admired Task Hall's determination to earn more spirit stones. He paid 1,000 spirit stones and decided to settle the rest of the due within the next 2 months. As he left, Jiang Hao suddenly remembered that he hadn't received a sect mission for quite some time. Perhaps it wouldn't be long before he was asked to go on a sect mission. He needed to meet junior brother Han. He might be close to advancing. Back at his residence, Jiang Hao took out the mountain river sword embryo. Placing another sword beside it, he exerted force to try to extract the sword's intent and activate the sword embryo. The sword embryo showed no reaction. The sword's intent alone was not enough to activate it. After some hesitation, he stuck the sword embryo outside the courtyard to see if anyone would be interested. Ordinary people couldn't detect this sword embryo unless they were fated. Later, Jiang Hao returned to the courtyard and began crafting talismans. There was nothing urgent. He needed to earn spirit stones to digest the divine soul of the Holy Master. He still had 200,000 spirit stones, but he didn't want to throw them all in together. At least 10,000 had to be left for the incarnation of the immortal peach tree. After a few more times, the peach tree would be at its final incarnation. Jiang Hao wondered what would happen. A divine tree wouldn't be that simple. In the west, Old Man Corpse C glanced at the sky and then walked to the south. There is no immortal sect over there, and I haven't explored it properly before. We'll take a look properly this time. Due to the heavenly fate misfortune pearl, he didn't want to stay in the west. The situation here was more complicated than expected. The loss of an avatar was somewhat regrettable. At least it should have died meaningfully. Going to the south might be safer, and he also wanted to see what was there. He was always curious about why there was never an immortal sect in the south. The Bright Moon sect and the Clear Sky School were willing to stay together in the east. I'll go and see if I find something. Could the south be more dangerous than the west had been anyway? Baizhu looked at the now recovered Chu Jie in some disbelief. "When you came back, you were seriously injured. Is it better now?" "Yeah, it's better. Actually, it wasn't much of an injury." Chu Jie turned around. "But I feel like your recovery was so quick." Xiao Yi was surprised. She had checked her pulse and treated her wounds. They had been so bad that it was practically impossible to recover so quickly. The pain would have been unbearable to an ordinary person. It had suddenly gotten better. This person was different from ordinary people. Baizhu also looked shocked. "Where do you plan to go, Chu Jie?" Baizhu suddenly asked. "They'll wander around and see what comes up. My journey is a starting point and an end point at the same time. Then, let's go to the dragon's nest." Baizhu smiled. Chapter 878. They're competing for a woman in the Bright Moon sect in the east. Su Bai stood on top of a mountain peak. He was like a giant between heaven and earth. "Looks like you're almost there." A middle-aged man walked to Su Bai. Still quite a bit to go. Subai shook his head. Master, is there news? The Heavenly Spirit tribe does show signs of recovery, and the master of the Heavenly Saints sect is accelerating his descent. There's a high probability that the immortal seed is about to bloom again. Can it be stopped? Subai asked. Hard to say, but we could try to suppress it. The thing should still be with the Heavenly Spirit tribe, and those who have achieved immortality can't enter. You have to go in person, said the middle-aged man. We just need to buy 200 years for Chu Jia. The hearts of the saints of the Clear Sky School have already become immortals, and they don't care. But the old guys from various races have started to stir things up, which might affect the great fortune. Is there a chance of success for junior sister Chu? Subai was curious. The middle-aged man sighed. She wants to walk the mortal world and face dangers on her own. No matter how many people in the sect oppose it, it's useless. She insists on forging her path to immortality. Do you think she can succeed? What? Subai was surprised. The heart of the heavenly Tao. The middle-aged man looked even more helpless. Many people in the sect are worried that she might end up dead too soon. The more special someone was, the more difficult their journey would be. It was easier for them to end up dead faster. Every race would try to get rid of someone with the heavenly Tao Foundation establishment. Chu Jia had already condensed the heart of the Tao. They dare not spread that news. If it weren't for that person's help, Chu Jia would have been in danger. The middle-aged man was a bit puzzled. That person has helped us twice in a row now, but they still refuse to show up. Subai lowered his head. Master, shall I set off? He asked. Go to the south. The middle-aged man thought for a moment. Take something to the Grand Earth Emperor. Maybe he can help. Just don't die. Subai nodded and left on his flying sword. He went out alone, and it would take quite a while to return. In the Heavenly Note sect in the south, Jiang Hao picked a peach early in the morning. Shaoli stood at the door and watched him sneakily. She stared at the peaches in his hands. Jiang Hao felt like he had somehow taken Xiao Li's peaches. Shaoli stared at him for a while and pouted as though someone had snatched her food away. Is this yours? Jiang Hao asked as he extended a peach in his hand. I've been taking care of it for a long time. Shaoli walked in. Taking care of it? Jiang Hao felt like he had committed a crime. After handing over the uneaten half of the peach, Shaoli smiled. She took the spirit beast to swim. Jiang Hao felt that it was quite interesting that Xiao Li was teaching the spirit beast to swim. He remembered the blue fish. It never came back. It had informed him about the abyssal dragon pearl. He wanted to know more, but it had never come back. Jiang Hao saw a young man as he walked out of the courtyard. He stood on the opposite bank of the river and gazed at Jiang Hao. Senior brother Jiang, you're back. It was Han Ming. He was in the middle stage of the Golden Core realm. Jiang Hao couldn't help but sigh. Junior brother Han was impressive. His aura was extremely dense. Junior brother Han, here to challenge me again? Jiang Hao asked with a smile. Yes. Han Ming nodded. This time, I hope you'll be on your guard. Otherwise, I might hurt you. Junior brother Han, I see you're confident. I guess you came across something extraordinary, said Jiang Hao. With your talent, no one on the Cliff of Broken Hearts is your match. It's just a matter of time before we'll be defeated by you. Han Ming snorted. His aura surged. The space around changed, and an invisible force surged toward Jiang Hao. He remained calm and composed. The pressure gradually intensified, and Xiao Li and the spirit beast hid. Beast, is senior brother Han fighting with senior brother Jiang? No, that is just a competition. Maybe they're fighting over a woman. Fighting for senior sister? How is that possible? Senior sister only has senior brother Jiang's sen on her, and senior brother also has her sen on him. They are a perfect match. Nonsense. Master is like a lion. There might be many mistresses throwing themselves at him. That's useless. Senior brother Jiang doesn't care about any of them. The mistresses that Master chooses may not value us. How about each of us finding a mistress for Master? No way. Shaoli directly covered her ears and didn't listen to the spirit beast. At that moment, a flash of sword light passed by. A loud rumbling sound followed, and the light of a sword and the sweep of a blade resonated together. For a moment, The sword light and the blade light clashed. The river water was stirred up into the air. When the water fell again, they landed on Han Ming. At that moment, the sword in his hand fell. He had lost again. Han Ming looked at Jiang Hao in disbelief. Senior brother Jiang, you've advanced? Junior brother Han, you're very talented. I just got lucky. If I hadn't advanced at the last moment, I would have lost. Han Ming bowed to Jiang Hao and left. Jiang Hao didn't pay too much attention to it. Han Ming's sword intent was indeed pure, and it was a pity that such a pure sword cultivator did not have a place in the Heavenly Note sect. It would be extremely difficult to teach Han Ming. It was not impossible to find resources, but there weren't many people who could teach him in the sect. Han Ming could only study on his own. When did Han Ming start on this path? Jiang Hao thought for a moment. The sword embryo appeared. It had turned into a seed and had the potential to grow strong. Shaking his head with a sigh, he turned and headed to the spirit herb garden. Unlike Jiang Hao, Han Ming returned to his house dejectedly. He had consumed too much energy to fight Jiang Hao, so he wanted to rest. As soon as he lay down, he felt a bit uneasy. He opened his eyes again. What's going on? He sat cross-legged on the bed, checked his condition, and lay down to rest again. He felt discomfort in his chest. It seemed like something was missing there. He got up again. He couldn't find a reason for it. He could only go out to practice the sword. However, the more he practiced, the more he felt something was wrong. It seemed that the power of the sword was different from before. It felt restrained. What is affecting me? He had a lot of experience in sword cultivation. He knew that his condition wasn't right. It was being influenced by something else. Chapter 879. Junior Brother Jiang. Wait for me to advance and find you. A partner. Han Ming sat in front of the house and looked up at the sky. He sat there from day to night, but couldn't figure out what was affecting him. It seemed to have started after returning from sparring with Senior Brother Jiang. Is it an inner demon? Han Ming doubted whether his defeat had given rise to an inner demon. He hadn't admitted defeat yet, so how could there be an inner demon? He hadn't experienced an inner demon before, but this didn't feel like it. At that moment, he felt something strange, and the sword in his hand became ordinary. When practicing the sword, movements had to be unrestrained. It should feel like an extension of his limbs. It shouldn't be like this. So far, he had never seen this sword. Han Ming couldn't understand it, and could do nothing but try to hide his condition. He would practice like he always did and improve. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to make any progress and surpass Senior Brother Jiang. Senior Brother Jiang's cultivation was advancing rapidly, and he needed to be even faster. One day, he would defeat Senior Brother Jiang. By then, he would be a senior. Around early October, Jiang Hao had completed most of what needed to be done. He only had to meet Linji now. The Candlelight Pill Pavilion was slowly returning the spirit stones that they owed the garden. Ching Cho didn't dare to provoke them. Many people in the Candlelight Pill Pavilion respected Jiang Hao, whether they were in the Golden Core realm or the Primordial Spirit realm. The group of Foundation Establishment realm alchemists dared not offend Jiang Hao. While Jiang Hao tended the Spirit Herb Garden, the Spirit Beast and Shaoli played on the side. They strolled around the Spirit Herb Garden to make sure everything was okay. Every few minutes, it went to report to Jiang Hao. Junior Brother Jiang, said a voice behind Jiang Hao. It was Senior Sister Miao Tinglian. Jiang Hao didn't care who was in the Spirit Herb Garden as long as it wasn't Miao Tinglian. He didn't want to see her. Senior Sister Miao Tinglian was very good to him, so he shouldn't treat her that way, but she was always trying to set him up with other women. Senior Sister Miao, how are you? Jiang Hao said. Senior Sister Miao Tinglian had healed completely. The danger from the Holy Master was over. After all, it was the matter with the Holy Master. Fortunately, the Heavenly Note sect had strengthened their security, so it was difficult for the spies to sneak in. Are you already in the late stage of the Golden Core realm? She asked in disbelief. Yeah, I got lucky, he said. How old are you now, Junior Brother Jiang? Miao Tinglian asked. 38, I think. Jiang Hao sighed. He wasn't young anymore. He had been only 19 when he made it to the Foundation Establishment realm. It seemed like only yesterday. Time passed by so fast. Late stage of the Golden Core realm at 38. Meow Tinglian couldn't believe it. You've caught up to me in cultivation already. Senior sister, you haven't had much time to cultivate, he said. In fact, senior sister Meow Tinglian had very high talent. If she worked hard, she could advance rapidly. Unfortunately, her progress was too slow because she kept focusing on other unnecessary things. That won't do. The juniors I've been meeting aren't worthy of you. I can't talk to those with higher cultivation because they won't hear me out at all. They'll discuss it with Muchi. I plan to advance to the primordial spirit realm in the next few years, Meow Tinglian said seriously. Jianghao was speechless. Even with sufficient talent, advancing to the primordial spirit realm in just a few years was unimaginable. Is it that unbelievable? Meow Tinglian asked. That is the benefit of having a partner. Anyway, it's not a big deal. Junior brother, take it slow. If you go too fast, you'll have to rely even more on Muchi's influence. Muchi had an inheritance treasure. He was also a true disciple. His cultivation was not weak. He had considerable influence within the sect. Why are you doing this, senior sister Meow? Jianghao asked. To find you a partner, of course. It doesn't matter if the cultivation is weak, but talent and temperament must match yours. Finding a partner for a lifetime is a big deal, and you don't have much time. I have to keep an eye out, said Meow Tinglian. Jianghao was touched that she cared for him so much. Unfortunately, he didn't really want a partner. His only chance was to advance rapidly, so that Meow Tinglian would give up on finding him a match. After thinking for a moment, Meow Tinglian suddenly asked, Junior brother Jiang, what do you think of the immortal ladies from outside the sect? Other demonic sects? Jianghao asked. How can that be? Meow Tinglian said solemnly. Normal demonic sects don't have anyone suitable for you. With your talent and temperament, you shouldn't be looking for demonic sections. You should have someone from an immortal sect. I know some people from immortal sections. I'll send them an invitation, and you can check them out. Jianghao was speechless. He helplessly went to find senior brother Muchi. He hoped that Muchi could help him. I'm serious, Muchi. Let go of me. I only want to talk to him, said Meow Tinglian as Muchi pulled her away. Jianghao quickly walked away. Senior sister Meow Tinglian had her heart in the right place, but she was sometimes too nosy. If he had known, he would have chosen someone else. While managing the Spirit Her Garden, Jianghao also observed the ordinary people. Everyone seemed okay. There was no apparent problem. He no longer had to use his appraising ability for small matters. It was not only because he had sufficient control over his strength, but also because of insights into the Nameless Manual. More importantly, his cultivation had improved significantly. If he couldn't handle the issues in the Spirit Her Garden, then it would be quite disappointing unless it was someone stronger than him like Lu Mantion. On the surface, Lu Mantion seemed like he was in the Return to Void Realm, but no one knew how powerful he was. As the day ended, Jianghao prepared to return to his house. He met Lu Xingqian on the way. It had been a long time since he had seen him. Lu Xingqian seemed quite normal, but there was a black aura on him. Within it were 3 faint figures. They couldn't be seen clearly from the looks of it. Those 3 hadn't come out for a long time. Maybe Lu Xingqian found it boring and didn't let them out. He needed to find something more interesting. Junior brother Jiang, it's been very long. I heard you were accused of being involved with spies again, said Lu Xingqian. Yes, but no one came to get me this time, Jianghao said. He thought that the people from the law enforcement hall would come looking for him, but they completely ignored him. The law enforcement hall is very busy. I heard that the people from the Lawless Tower are once again arresting people everywhere, and the law enforcement hall has to assist. They don't have time to deal with you. After all, similar incidents happen all the time, and no matter how they investigate, they can't find any evidence against you. In the law enforcement hall, you have become a figure that no one bothers with anymore, said Lu Xingqian. Chapter 880. Do you think the appearance of a charm body is a coincidence? A person no one bothers with? Jianghao felt helpless. He hadn't expected things to turn out like this. Over the years, he had kept in contact with the law enforcement hall. Many times, he had been suspected of being a traitor, but they had no evidence against him. The people from the task hall and merit hall also pressured the law enforcement hall. Maybe they had given up the investigation because there were no new clues. There were too many things to deal with. Oftentimes, it was clear that Jiang Hao was only a scapegoat for those spies who were captured. Aren't they going to investigate at all? Jiang Hao asked. Investigate? Lil Xingqian smiled. They did. They interrogated the sky and asked him to explain everything in detail. But the spy didn't have any information on you. So, the law enforcement hall doesn't want to waste their time. It's still good to investigate thoroughly, which they did. They found others connected to the spy. The Lawless Tower has been very busy lately. Jiang Hao was surprised. So, they did investigate. Was the Lawless Tower really that busy? He hadn't been there for a long time. In the past, he occasionally visited the Lawless Tower to question Zhuang Yuzhen. But now, he was left to his own devices. The sect didn't care. It seemed that there were fewer people paying attention to the heavenly fragrance Dao flower. At first, there was Lu Xingqian, senior sister Ming Yi, and the spirit beast. They had been after the flower. Now, Lu Xingqian didn't pay any attention to it at all. He just didn't want to be bored. Ming Yi hadn't visited him lately. Maybe she was planning something. As for the beast, it was no longer a tool to be used. Jiang Hao had adopted and raised it. The spirit beast cultivation was at the peak of the Golden Core realm. The spirit beast wasn't reckless. Otherwise, it could have escaped by now. There's something I want to tell you, junior brother Jiang, Lu Xingqian said. The Heavenly Joy Pavilion has decided to give up on you. They no longer want to target you. Jiang Hao was surprised. He was quite puzzled. Why? The master from the Heavenly Joy Pavilion was no longer after him. It kind of took the shine away from his struggle. He felt that the danger had spurred him to grow. With the pavilion master off his back, he might slack off. Although Hong Yuye was dangerous, the pavilion master was also strong. It's because they found a charm body who can help the pavilion master with his advancement, said Lu Xingqian. Jiang Hao sighed. So, another charm body has appeared. Speaking of which, do you know who that person is? Lu Xingqian looked at Jiang Hao carefully. Jiang Hao shook his head. Who is it? The heaven extinction goo poison helped keep his emotions in check. He pretended to be indifferent. It's Li Min, the junior who went to the mine with you, junior brother. It is said that she didn't have a gift of enchantment at first, but she was blessed after coming out of the mine, said Lu Xingqian as he looked at Jiang Hao meaningfully. Don't you find that strange? It's indeed very strange. Jiang Hao nodded. No one knows how it happened. If it were somewhere else, everyone would have some theory. But since it was in the mine, no one knows what happened, said Lu Xingqian with a smile. Junior brother Jiang, do you think it's possible that it was artificially done? Maybe someone used the mines as a cover. It shouldn't be possible, Jiang Hao said in surprise. True. I've never heard of such a method. Lu Xingqian smiled and nodded. He then informed Jiang Hao about the recent changes in the sect. I heard that senior brother Manlong has once again become the 10th top disciple. Jiang Hao was not surprised by this. It had been many years since the incident with Bai Yi. The punishment period had expired. Lu Xingqian also mentioned that people from the Heavenly Saint sect had been keeping an eye on the Heavenly Note sect, especially after the incident in the Cliff of Broken Hearts. Lu Xingqian didn't linger after that. Out of curiosity, Jiang Hao appraised Lu Xingqian. Lu Xingqian, true disciple of the Clear Sky School, born with the aura of the true dragon. He is undercover at the law enforcement hall. Seeds of evil have been blooming and feeding the 3 remnant souls in his body. He came to you because he found it strange that Li Min suddenly had the gift of a charm body. He suspects it's because of you. He also thinks that the disappearance of the Holy Master and Divine Soul is somehow connected with you. His interest grows toward you. He is excited to see what other changes might occur. He wants to find another remnant soul to encourage the 3 souls in his body because he is bored. Jiang Hao sighed. Lu Xingqian really did nothing except watch the show. His body was still filled with evil aura, yet he wasn't fully refining his cultivation. Instead, he was there for the show. Jiang Hao returned to his courtyard. He planned to visit the Lawless Tower in the next few days. He also intended to brief Cheng Chou on questions he might have. After the explanation, he was bound to have questions. Jiang Hao spared no effort in sharing what he had learned and knew. Cheng Chou's talent was average. Sometimes, it took until the night for him to understand what Jiang Hao wanted to teach him. Jiang Hao helped him as best as he was able. The spirit beast and Xiao Li also stayed up late with him when that happened. I've learned it all, Xiao Li said as she demonstrated it to Chang Chou. The spirit beast flew in the air. As long as you invoke my name, the spiritual energy around you will obey. Jiang Hao sat on the side and watched. Chang Chou muttered something. He might actually be chanting Lord Beast's name. It was better than nothing. And then it happened. He succeeded. The spirit beast was very excited. Xiao Li and Chang Chou were both delighted. Jiang Hao could only shake his head. These kids really thought the beast was helping. Chang Chou walked with them. He was somewhat puzzled. Senior brother Han Ming has been acting very strangely. He constantly wanders around as though he is looking for something. He always seems to be lost in thought. He is different from before. Jiang Hao was surprised. What had happened to junior brother Han? Chang Chou also didn't know everything clearly. He just knew that Han Ming had been acting very strangely. Jiang Hao planned to check in on him when he had time. The next day, Han Ming arrived at the Spirit Herb Garden as Jiang Hao reached. I'm here because I feel weird after last time. More than 10 days had passed, and his heart was restless. The discomfort in his chest became worse. He had searched for a solution everywhere, but couldn't find anything. He had no choice but to visit the Spirit Herb Garden and ask for help. Could it really be that senior brother Jiang has somehow planted within me an inner demon? He didn't believe it. He sat cross-legged and tried to calm himself. As time passed, his restless heart gradually became calm. This was the first time he had felt some peace in days. So, the solution was here. Chapter 881. Price of the Sword. Embryo. Han Ming opened his eyes after a while. He didn't sense anything. After some thought, he changed his spot. As he walked away from the garden, he felt the restlessness again, as if it was tearing away from him. When he returned to the place, it disappeared. What could it be? No matter how he looked, he couldn't find anything. Could it be inside the courtyard? He glanced inside. The courtyard was covered by an array. There was mist in there. He didn't enter the courtyard. He simply walked around it to see if he could find anything. Apart from a peach tree and a grove of bamboo, he didn't see anything striking. Where could it be? Han Ming frowned. As it began to darken, he decided to leave. He saw Jiang Hao returning home from the garden. In his haste, he stumbled over something. He saw a sword embedded in the soil. It looked ordinary, but the moment he saw it, he felt delighted. This was it. He couldn't look away. It was as though he was destined to be here. Han Ming found it unbelievable. He squatted down to grasp the seemingly ordinary sword. In an instant, his mind became clear, and the surrounding aura flowed in him. A strange feeling arose in his heart. It felt as though he was one with this blade. He finally felt calm. Even his cultivation improved. What is this? He pulled out the sword. Although he didn't know what it was undoubtedly something extraordinary. He looked around. There was no one around. But he walked to the front of the courtyard and waited. He didn't feel restless now. His mind was calm and clear. From a distance, Jiang Hao watched Han Ming. I never thought the destined person would be Han Ming. But why didn't he take it and leave? Jiang Hao had returned home early. The spirit beast had noticed Han Ming wandering around the courtyard. From noon until evening, Han Ming had been walking around the courtyard like a madman until he came upon the sword embryo. Jiang Hao thought Han Ming would take the sword and leave since no one had seen him take it. Unexpectedly, he seemed to be waiting for him to arrive. Jiang Hao stopped hiding and headed to his house. Han Ming saw Jiang Hao. Senior brother Jiang, junior brother Han, were you looking for me? Jiang Hao asked. I was just walking by when I found a sword at your place that was right for me. I was wondering if you would be willing to sell it, said Han Ming as he brought out the sword embryo. I don't really need that sword. Do you want it? Asked Jiang Hao. Yes. Then, take it as a gift from me, junior brother Han. No, I'd rather buy it from you. Please tell me how much you would want for it. Jiang Hao was amused. He had bought this sword for 50,000. Junior brother Han wouldn't be able to afford that even if he added all his life savings and sold all his treasures. He was a true disciple, but he didn't get paid much. Well then, Jiang Hao held up 5 fingers. How about 50 spirit stones? 50. Han Ming frowned. Is it too much? Jiang Hao asked. I can offer 5,000. Han Ming handed him 4,000 spirit stones. I'm short by 1,000 right now. I could pay you next month. So, he didn't even have 5,000. Jiang Hao was amused. As for the loss on his part, Jiang Hao didn't really care. It might not matter to others, but he felt grateful to Han Ming. He had used Han Ming's progress to hide his own for years. So, he felt that he owed him at least this much. Moreover, the sword embryo was of no use to him. Han Ming was the perfect match for it. If Han Ming progressed fast, it would ensure his safety too. I will come and find you to pay the remaining 1,000, said Han Ming. He took the sword, bowed, and left. Jiang Hao didn't mind. 5,000 spirit stones was not a small amount. He wondered what legacy that sword would create. After all, the one who wielded it wasn't an ordinary person. After Han Ming left, Jiang Hao headed toward the Lawless Tower. It had been a long time since he had visited that place. He wanted to see what was going on there. If there were new captives, it was worth a visit. Sometimes, people at the gathering wanted the people in the Lawless Tower. Jiang Hao wouldn't even know until someone mentioned someone else who was important. Besides, he hadn't offered wine and meat to Zhuang Yuzhen in a long time. He also wanted to check on Mi Lingyue and Hai Luo. If possible, he wanted to ask Mi Lingyue to forge him a good pickaxe for mining. She was a forging master, after all. At the entrance of the Lawless Tower, Jiang Hao saw two unfamiliar seniors who were newly assigned to stand guard. When they saw Jiang Hao, they were surprised. They blocked his way. "Junior brother, this is the Lawless Tower. You can't enter it just like that," said a senior sister at the primordial spirit realm. Jiang Hao bowed. "I want to see someone inside. It's not that we want to stop you, but the place might be dangerous for you. If you want to go in anyway, that's all right. We're just trying to warn you," said the senior, and made way for him. Jiang Hao thanked them politely and walked in. The two guards looked at him curiously. Not long after, Insha walked out. She looked like she was getting a headache. The senior sister hesitantly said, "Senior sister Insha, there's something." Just now, a junior went in. We advised him that it might be dangerous for him, but he went in anyway. Insha was surprised. Who was it? A junior at the late stage of the Golden Core Realm. I'm not sure which branch he is from. Golden Core Realm? Insha seemed to understand. I see. Don't worry about him. If he visits again, just let him in. The two guards looked at each other. They didn't understand. Was that junior special? From Insha's tone, it seemed that he visited often. On the 5th floor, when Jiang Hao arrived, it was quiet. That was strange. Usually, Hai Luo would be loud and boastful. When he saw the cells, he noticed that everyone was sitting against it dejectedly. It seemed like no one wanted to talk. Zhuang Yuzhen looked glad to see Jiang Hao. "What's going on?" Jiang Hao asked. Nan Gongyu and others finally noticed him. They looked at Jiang Hao in delight. "Finally, where are you? Aren't you going to interrogate us?" Jiang Hao was surprised. Chapter 882. Truly the king of the 5th floor. Jiang Hao looked at the prison cells. In cell number 1 was Zhuang Yuzhen. Hai Luo was in cell 2. Nan Gongyu was in cell 3 and Mi Lingyue in 4. They were the only old captives. The others were all new. In cell number 5, there was a man with disheveled hair. He was kneeling on the floor in a daze. He looked calm. Seems like it's been long since anyone visited. Jiang Hao walked to Nan Gongyu. She had mentioned as much. Although he hadn't visited for long, it had only been a year or two. For these people, several years without meeting anyone wouldn't make a difference. It wasn't solitary confinement anyway. Why is it a problem? Jiang Hao asked. No one could stir up trouble in the Lawless Tower. It's a problem. It's too painful. He is next to me, said Mi Lingyue. If she could, she would have left as soon as possible. What's wrong with him? Jiang Hao asked. Always picking on me, scoffed Hai Luo. Why would I bother with you all? Do you really think I'm the same as you? Ha ha ha. A sharp laughter rang out. Jiang Hao turned toward the direction of the laughter. It was the man who had been kneeling on the floor with his head bowed. He was suddenly laughing maniacally. The sound was grating. It took Jiang Hao by surprise. What is he up to? The man was young. He was pale, but had some red marks on his face. They were probably birthmarks. That's it. He does that, said Nan Gongyu. We have been hearing that laughter for half a year now. It happens day and night, and no one has a way to deal with it. Jiang Hao remained calm, but even he felt like the laughter was jarring and uncomfortable. He just keeps laughing. Only ever shuts up during tea time, said Mi Lingwei. Can no one make him stop? Jiang Hao asked. Zhuang Yuzhen shook his head. Everyone has tried everything. Threats, bribes, rewards, nothing works. Jiang Hao was curious. He appraised the person. Wen Zhu, one of the top 3,000 members of the Great Thousand God sect, whose cultivation was absorbed and disintegrated by the lawless tower. He is not only at the early stage of the primordial spirit realm. He knew that Mi Lingwei had been caught and held in the lawless tower. He was afraid that she might break away from the sect's control, so he came to investigate. He wanted to send a message through his laughter. However, it seemed the message didn't go through, and he became somewhat manic. He tried to use the mania to his advantage to transmit the message. The more time passed, the more anxious he became. The true face pill he desired was about to be ready, and he was going to go out and use it to heal the scars on his face. He is afraid that the poison of the bitter tea will deepen his scars and make it impossible for the true face pill to heal them. Jiang Hao was surprised. He hadn't expected this person to care so much for his appearance. He was similar to Feng Hua, but it was a little different. His scars could still be healed if he didn't drink the bitter tea. After thinking for a moment, Jiang Hao walked over to him. Senior, can we talk? Jiang Hao asked. However, the person continued to laugh maniacally and ignored Jiang Hao. Senior, can you please be quiet for a moment? Jiang Hao asked again. Zhuang Yuzhen and the others stared at Jiang Hao. What they awaited would happen once again. They hoped Jiang Hao could do it. They couldn't stand the laughter. Jiang Hao looked at Wen Zhu. He completely ignored him as though he wasn't worth paying attention to. His laughter was like a mockery to outsiders. Jiang Hao remained calm. He extended his hand and beckoned to the person. Senior, can you come over here? Ha ha. The laughter continued. Jiang Hao sighed. Look, what I'm going to say isn't funny. After I say it, you won't feel like laughing either. The person continued to laugh. Jiang Hao said, Poison of the bitter tea. The laughter abruptly stopped. Mi Lingwei and the others were shocked. This legend of a person never changed. At that moment, Wen Zhu looked at Jiang Hao resentfully. It seems you don't find that funny too, Senior, said Jiang Hao. What do you want? Wen Zhu asked. Nothing. I just feel like vor is other people's peace, said Jiang Hao. He also realized that this person might know something about Feng Hua. He wanted to use this person to find out Feng Hua's true identity. Feng Hua was vindictive, so it was better to find a way to make her let go of her hatred. Otherwise, Jiang Hao couldn't be at peace anywhere. Feng Hua was capable of anything. Wen Zhu was silent. She looked skeptical. Ha ha! Laugh. Continue your laughter. I haven't had enough of it yet, said Hai Luo smugly. Yeah, keep laughing in the face of this arrogant heavenly king, said Mi Lingwei. Nangang Yu looked at Jiang Hao. She hadn't gone through the process where Jiang Hao would beckon to her and reveal her secrets. She had been curious for a while, but realized it was better to not question things like that. Insha had just come up to the 5th floor to find Jiang Hao to ask him for help. However, when she arrived, the 5th floor was very quiet. Usually, it would be very noisy. She was frustrated with the laughing man, but they had to keep him alive to see if he was still useful. The 5th floor had become a place they didn't like to visit. With time, Elder Baiji focused less and less on Zhuang Yuzhen and others. Why was the laughter gone? Insha saw Wen Zhu staring at Jiang Hao. She understood what was going on. Mi Lingwei and the others had mentioned that something like this always happened with Jiang Hao, but she hadn't seen it. Those who were often on the 5th floor knew about this. Such information couldn't be spread publicly. If news got out, it would affect Jiang Hao. He always kept a low profile because he didn't want to attract unwanted attention. If there was an issue because of this, Jiang Hao might not want to come to the tower anymore. It would be troublesome to seek help from him. They needed to ask Elder Baiji for permission. If there were no problems, they could ask him for help in the future. Junior brother Jiang, there's something I'd like your help with, Insha said. In the city near the Heavenly Note sect, Shangguan Qingsu sat in an inn and looked into the distance. There is no news about smiling Sansheng at all. Where on earth is he? Do I have to go to the Heavenly Notes sect? The Heavenly Notes sect has captured people from the Great Thousand God sect lately. Who are they looking for? Overseas people have suffered at the hands of the Heavenly Notes sect. We can't underestimate them. I need an excuse to infiltrate the sect. There's a big problem. If smiling Sansheng can't help with the curse, what will I do? Chapter 883. The reversal of the Great Thousand Spirit at the Lawless Tower. Jiang Hao was puzzled. There shouldn't be anything else on the 5th floor. He had already made Wen Zhu cooperate. What else was he needed for? It's someone from the upper floor. They are very stubborn. I want to take a look, said Insha. Who is it? Jiang Hao asked curiously. He couldn't handle some people like Nan Gongyu because she had no weakness he could use as leverage. She had only yielded because Insha had met one of the Saint Bandits, and she wanted to know what message he had left. It's someone from the Fallen Immortal Clan, said Insha. The Fallen Immortal Clan? Jiang Hao was confused. He wasn't really connected to the Fallen Immortal Clan in any way. Besides Gu Qing, he hadn't met anyone from that clan. The Xianyuan clan should be targeting the Fallen Immortal Clan. They had a feud between them for a long time. That clan had fallen because of the Human Emperor. The Human Emperor had been from the Xianyuan clan. Although the Human Emperor represented the human race, who would really treat the entire human race as an enemy. They would fault the Xianyuan clan. Jiang Hao could understand if the Xianyuan clan was after the Fallen Immortal Clan, but he didn't understand why the Heavenly Notes sect was getting involved. But he would help as much as he could because he knew that the Fallen Immortal Clan was keeping an eye on Shaoli, yes. We recently caught some members of the Fallen Immortal Clan. There are quite a few of them. We have kept them here for questioning, said Insha. Caught them for questioning? Jiang Hao found it hard to believe. It would provoke the Fallen Immortal Clan. The Heavenly Note sect was newly established. Offending the Fallen Immortal Clan would be dangerous. He didn't ask much. He only told her that he would observe the situation. Senior sister Insha nodded. She told him she would make the arrangements in 2 days. Jiang Hao had only been to the 5th floor of the Lawless Tower. He hadn't been to other floors. It was best to observe the person on the 5th floor. After that, senior sister Insha left. The others were a bit nervous. They didn't know why Jiang Hao was suddenly here. I brought you some wine and meat, said Jiang Hao as he offered them to Zhuang Yuzhen. It seems that the Lawless Tower has caught many people, Zhuang Yuzhen said. Jiang Hao nodded. He had also heard about it. Suddenly, he remembered something. Didn't you say you agreed to help teach disciples in exchange for leniency? We did, but the Heavenly Note sect seems to have a lot of things on their plate. The follow-up has been delayed, said Nan Gongyu. Do you know much about the Fallen Immortal Clan? Jiang Hao asked. They had also heard senior sister Insha's words. The Fallen Immortal Clan. Zhuang Yuzhen thought for a moment. The most important TMNG roar TNM ISTNE Immortal Sia. It aeon matter, now tiny world changes. The immortal seed will bloom and bear fruit. It is a symbol of the return of the Immortal Clan. It's the Fallen Immortal Clan's most important treasure. Immortal seed? Jiang Hao didn't know much about it. The Fallen Immortal Clan is known for being stubborn, and it's basically impossible to get information from them, Nan Gongyu said. We have observed the Fallen Immortal Clan for a long time. They believe in their past glory and have no other goal. That's their limitation. Everyone was surprised. That was what our senior said anyway, Nan Gongyu said. The one she referred to was the founder of the Saint Bandits. How can we make them speak? Mi Lingwa asked. It's simple. Talk to them about their past glory and compare it to today's Fallen Immortal Clan. In their resentment and anticipation, they might reveal something. We tried it, said Nan Gongyu. However, that method only worked with some of the fanatics. Jiang Hao remembered these. King Hai Luo, this is the time to show off, said Mi Lingwa. Or is it that you know nothing? King Hai Luo looked at Mi Lingwa coldly. Do you want me to tell you about the Great Thousand God sect? For example, the Great Thousand God sect is preparing a group of undercover agents, and these undercover agents are all controlled by the Great Thousand Spirit. I know how to break free from that control. I don't believe it, Mi Lingwe said confidently. Wen Zhu looked at King Hai Luo in surprise. Do you not believe me? King Hai Luo chuckled. Then, I won't say anything more. Let's talk about how to distinguish members of the Great Thousand God sect. How do you distinguish them? Nangon Yu asked curiously. It was quite difficult to detect them. King Hai Luo smiled mysteriously. The foundation of the Great Thousand God sect is their spiritual technique. Although some people don't cultivate the Great Thousand spiritual technique, they still need to practice the methods of the Great Thousand God. As long as their foundation is based on that, their spirit will be unique. For example, that person who laughs maniacally is a member of the Great Thousand God sect. He is one of the top 3,000 members. Mi Lingwe looked at Wen Zhu. He looked shocked. She realized that King Hai Luo was speaking the truth. Do you really think I'm like you? Some come here because they're caught, and others come here because they have no other choice. I am here willingly, said King Hai Luo. In this world, there is nothing greater than me. Mi Lingwe looked at Jiang Hao. King Hai Luo, your master is watching you. King Hai Luo looked so smug that it surprised Mi Lingwe. Then, he sat in a corner silently. Jiang Hao was a bit surprised. Could Hai Luo really tell who was from the Great Thousand God sect? This was quite impressive. His perception had increased, but he still couldn't tell them apart. Impossible, Wen Zhu said coldly. The Great Thousand spiritual technique doesn't have any pattern. How could you distinguish it? It's not strange that you know who I am. It might just be a lucky guess. Lucky guess? Since you were one of the top 3,000 members, you know about that island, right? I entered that island and saw the 3,000 spiritual techniques floating there. Although it was just a glance, I wrote down the reversal spell for the Great Thousand Spirit technique. Hai Luo took out a tattered book from his pocket. This method of reversal is especially targeted at the Greater World Mental Energy technique. The Great Thousand God sect can never go into hiding because of this. After saying that, he handed the book to Jiang Hao. Chapter 884. Object that would bring the sect doom. Hai Luo handed the book to Jiang Hao with a wry smile. Jiang Hao was surprised. King Hai Luo really knew how to use his surroundings to his advantage. Are you giving this to me, senior? Jiang Hao took the book. He was curious about what it might have. Can it really reverse the Great Thousand spiritual technique? Hai Luo winked. Jiang Hao was even more confused. Jiang Hao had no leverage against Hai Luo anymore. Miao Anshan probably was dead by now. King Hai Luo could leave if he wanted to. He could ask someone to pay spirit stones and release him from here. This book must be fake. There's no way something like that exists in this world. Wen Zhu didn't believe it. He had never heard of such a thing. Mi Lingwe also didn't believe it. How could the Great Thousand God sect allow such a lapse in judgment? But Hai Luo had said it with such confidence that it worried everyone. Jiang Hao looked at the book. The words on it were barely legible, as though someone had written it hastily. Perhaps it was written inside the lawless tower. The captives were searched when they were brought to the tower. He looked at the book briefly. It explained the origin of the Great Thousand spiritual technique. 3,000 Tao methods, 3,000 wondrous techniques, and 3,000 spell techniques were condensed into the Great Thousand spiritual technique. The spiritual avatar could be divided into Tao avatars, mystic avatars, and spell avatars. Each was different. If one understood the techniques, it was possible to perceive these avatars. This was just the beginning. Jiang Hao felt the power of the words. He also tried to use it. Mi Lingwe, who had been waiting for Jiang Hao to finish, suddenly noticed a change in his breath. It was elusive and mysterious. The breath and spirit seemed to overlap. After a long time, Mi Lingwe saw Jiang Hao close the book. His condition returned to normal. She unexpectedly felt that the Great Thousand spiritual technique had been targeted. It was fleeting. For a moment, she felt that the person in front of her was dangerous. They saw Jiang Hao turn and leave. When everyone left, they all breathed a sigh of relief. For some reason, they felt an inexplicable pressure. What did King Hai Luo give that book to him? Why do I feel uneasy? Mi Lingwe asked as Jiang Hao left. It seems like he read on the spot. Is it that easy? Nangong, you asked. King Hai Luo snorted but didn't say anything. Wen Zhu looked to be in a daze. He had also felt it. It was truly aimed at the great thousand spiritual technique. At that moment, he was thinking of ways to communicate with the members of his sect. If what King Hai Luo said was true, then this could overturn their great thousand-god sect entirely. They must take away the book and then kill the person who knew about it. Even if it was the heavenly king, they had to find a way to deal with him. If they couldn't kill him, they would make sure he could never spread the information. Jiang Hao walked out of the 5th floor and stopped at the stairs. King Hai Luo had not lied to him. He could indeed sense the great thousand spiritual technique. It was truly extraordinary. When he looked at the book, the Heaven Lock technique, and the nameless manual both instantly reacted. Because of that, he quickly learned the reversal of the great thousand spirit. He wanted to find Feng Hua. It was easier to find her with this knowledge. He hesitated and wondered whether he should hand over the book to senior sister Yin Sha. This thing was too huge. He was worried. Once the news leaked, the Heavenly Notes sect would be in trouble. But if he didn't hand it over, Wen Zhu would target him for it. It would affect the foundation of the great thousand god sect, and he would definitely face a catastrophe. Even the Heavenly Notes sect wouldn't be able to protect him. It was better to give the notebook to the Heavenly Notes sect and let them find a solution. Jiang Hao couldn't help worrying. This really could annihilate the entire sect. The Heavenly Notes sect was not strong enough to face the entire great thousand god sect. Late that night, at the White Moon Lake, Baiji was refining her cultivation. After advancing to another realm, she stabilized her cultivation. She was different from before and wanted to make her cultivation more stable. She couldn't be impatient. However, at that moment, Insha suddenly wanted to see her. Baiji disappeared from the courtyard and appeared at the lakeside. It didn't take long for Insha to fly over. Master, Insha greeted her. She looked flustered. What is it? Baiji asked softly. Insha saw that there was something different about Elder Baiji. The imposing aura made her feel her own insignificance. No one in the entire sect could go against Elder Baiji. She was a worthy sect master. Today, I obtained something from the Lawless Tower. But this might prove very risky for the sect, said Insha. She never dreamed that she would get her hands on something like this. What is it? Baiji was surprised. It hadn't been this dangerous when they obtained the Heaven Lock technique. It's this. Insha handed over the tattered book. Baiji took it. She looked at it briefly and frowned. Where did this come from? She asked. This book could bring about a disaster. King Hai Luo had it. He gave it to Jiang Hao when he visited the Lawless Tower. Jiang Hao gave it to me, said Insha. King Hai Luo. Baiji was surprised. They thought that the captives were very unwilling to give out any information whatsoever. Who has seen it? Baiji asked. Except for junior brother Jiang, only my subordinates have seen it, Insha said. But I'm not sure if the content is accurate. Baiji lowered her head and thought. This thing was beneficial to them. They could find Feng Hua with this. But there were dangers to it. They couldn't leak this information anywhere. Otherwise, the sect would be in trouble. Others on the 5th floor know about it. Baiji asked. Yes. Insha nodded. Go and check. Don't worry about those who cooperate. For those who don't, wait for my message. Insha nodded. The information was very dangerous and had to be kept confidential. Once the captives from the 5th floor left, they might create problems. It would be crucial to make sure those who left the 5th floor didn't talk about it, or they needed to be silenced forever. Chapter 885. Silence after obtaining the book, Baiji immediately sought an audience with the sect master. This matter was not trivial, and although she could understand the content of the book, she felt that it wasn't so easy to decipher everything. She felt that something was missing. So, she needed to see the sect master. Baiji stood quietly in front of the pavilion. There was no figure in the pavilion at the moment. After a while, a red figure appeared. We found a book at the Lawless Tower, said Baiji, and handed the book over. Jiang Hao went to the 5th floor, and King Hai Luo gave it to him. It seems very important, so I had to come here and consult with you, sect master. Hong Ye did not speak, but took the book and opened it. She looked surprised. Has anyone read it? She asked. Other than Jiang Hao, no one else. The people who have seen it so far couldn't read it. Baiji hesitated. Is there an issue with the content of the book? There is no issue for now, but the one who wrote this book is a heavenly king from overseas. I can sense his aura. Just because he wrote it down doesn't mean others can understand it, said Hong Yuye as she closed the book. Is it very demanding to cultivate? Baiji asked. She didn't see any changes. You can modify it and try. To cultivate it accurately, you'll need to find people who share the same aura, said Hong Yuye. She wrote something in the air. A new book floated in front of Baiji. It's a bit more complicated, and the effect might be a bit weaker, but the ones from the Great Thousand God sect cannot sense it. Baiji accepted the book and looked at Hong Yuye in surprise. The sect master had modified it so easily. Soon, the old book returned to Baiji. She wondered who in the sect had that kind of aura. There should be someone, but they were not in the Lawless Tower. Jiang Hao, on the other hand, could cultivate the technique. After a moment of thought, she felt that he might have already cultivated it. This matter needed further consideration. Are there any other clues? Hong Yuye asked. Fenghua is very difficult to find. Recently, members of the Great Thousand God sect have been withdrawing from the southern region, so there is currently no new information. At present, the known avatars of Fenghua are in our sect, as well as in the Black Heaven sect. Other sects might also have them. We are still investigating it, said Baiji. Recently, the Fallen Immortal clan has been active. We need to recuperate from the last attack, but the Heavenly Saint sect and the Great Thousand God sect are both watching us. We're trying to capture members of the Fallen Immortal clan to see what they are up to so that we can prepare beforehand. Besides, there are overseas matters. There is news that the end of all things is starting to gather core members because of their previous failures. We don't know what they are planning. The end of all things was on a rise. They could gain insight into their real plan only after becoming a core member. Baiji was quite emotional. The end of all things' ultimate goal was the end of the world. They were so fanatical that nothing in their life mattered to them. Hong Yi nodded and asked if there was anything else. Baiji talked about the matter with the Heavenly Saint sect. There were no major issues. Although Azure Mountain had support from overseas, it couldn't pose a threat to them yet. Many people from the Heavenly Gates sect died in the Heavenly Notes sect last time. Some people from the Heavenly Gates sect wanted to take action. What about the Heavenly Fragrance Dao flower? Hong Yuye asked. There are fewer people paying attention to the Heavenly Fragrance Dao flower. It seems that everyone is waiting for the flower to bloom. Jiang Hao went out and advanced again. It seems that the person behind him is helping him advance. All the accusations against him are baseless, and so far, there is no evidence proving that he betrayed the sect, Baiji said. Hong Ye didn't say much. It seems that the Black Heaven sect is interested in establishing friendly relations with us. It might probably be to facilitate the growth of the Grand Earth Emperor. Baiji wanted to see the sect master's reaction to the news. There's no need to be enemies with the Grand Earth Emperor. If he wants to become stronger, let him become stronger, said Hong Yuye. Baiji was surprised. What about the future? In the future, the Grand Earth Emperor might become their enemy. What about it? Hong Ye looked at Baiji. I'm worried that the Grand Earth Emperor will attack us, Baiji said. Hong Ye looked at the person in front of her. No need to worry about that. Baiji lowered her head and didn't say anything more. Since the sect master said so, she wouldn't worry about it. Things were clearer now. She was stronger because the sect master stood in support. The sect master's foresight was beyond her realm of understanding. After all, on the 5th floor of the Lawless Tower, Insha walked in with 2 people holding a huge mirror. Zhuang Yuzhen and others were resting in their cells. They opened their eyes when they saw the people walk in. What are you here for, little bitch? King Hai Luo sneered. Insha didn't care about him. She looked at Zhuang Yuzhen. The latter was surprised. He didn't understand why Insha was looking at him. Today, our people found a book from here, she said. Zhuang Yuzhen was surprised. He finally understood. I swear on my immortal Tao that I won't mention anything about what I have seen or heard today to anyone. Otherwise, my Tao will break, and my soul will shatter, he said. Insha turned to look at the people behind her. They nodded. Then, she looked at Nangongyu. At that moment, Nangongyu understood. The information Hai Luo had given was true. Otherwise, the lawless tower wouldn't be taking such measures to keep them quiet. She took the oath and promised not to tell anyone. Mi Lingwen knew this would happen, so she obliged as well. Finally, Insha approached Wenju. I also swear by my Tao, Wenju said seriously. I, Wenju, swear by my immortal Tao not to mention anything about what I have seen or heard today. Insha looked at the two people behind her. They frowned and shook their heads. Insha nodded and left. After a while, another group of people came in. They took Wenju away. The only instruction they received was to kill this person. Wenju had no immortal Tao and had tried to lie his way out of the immortal oath. Chapter 886. Lantern and daylight, Jiang Hao returned to the courtyard and sat in his room. The method to reverse the great thousand spirit surprised him. Learning it all at once made him somewhat worried. It could be troublesome to learn things like that. If not used properly, it could work both ways. The great thousand gods sect might use it to trace him too. Watching Mi Lingwei and Wenju before, he felt like they were being spied on too. If it weren't for the need to find Feng Hua, it would be better not to cultivate this technique. Once discovered, it would undoubtedly lead to trouble. Even if the technique was made public, there was no solution to it. The reversal of the great thousand spirit only allowed one to sense if the other was from the great thousand god sect. Who would dare to stand against him? Peeking into others' secrets sometimes resulted in self-destruction. He had to be careful. The great thousand divine sect wouldn't kill everyone who knew about it. They would try to find the source. Jiang Hao was a very careful person. He would never be reckless. He liked stability. The longer the time passed, the better. If there were problems, it was better for self-improvement. Sensing the reversal of the Great Spirit, Jiang Hao felt more and more that he should have known about it. But it was still hard to comprehend the whole method. The integration of a nameless manual and a heaven-lock technique might give way to newer ways of perception. He adjusted the skills that he had gained from the nameless manual. He lessened the consumption of energy and eliminated the possibility of detection. As long as he wasn't noticed, he could try to find out how many people belonged to the Great Thousand God sect. He needed someone to confirm. Mi Lingwei and Wenju were good candidates to start from. He had to adjust his state and make more progress before heading to the Lawless Tower. The next day, he received a message from Insha. She told him that he could cultivate the reversal of the Great Thousand Spirit, but he wasn't allowed to leak the information. That was an order from Elder Baiji. They weren't asking him. They were telling him. Jiang Hao obviously had no objections. It seemed like the sect also knew this matter was tricky and didn't want problems with the Great Thousand God sect. Time passed quickly. In nearly 3 months, Jiang had cleared the payment to the task hall and sold many talismans. He had earned a lot of spirit stones. His income was more than his expenses, so he felt a bit hopeful. During that time, he studied the reversal of the Great Thousand Spirit. Occasionally, he visited the Lawless Tower. What surprised him was that Wenju was missing. He was rumored to have been taken away from the Lawless Tower. It was unknown whether he was alive or dead. He might have been killed because of the matter with the reversal of the Great Thousand Spirit. In the 3 months, Mi Lingwei couldn't perceive him using the reversal of the Great Thousand Spirit. A few more days of study should be enough. However, the Lawless Tower seniors also seemed to have learned their lesson. They treated him differently from before. He didn't ask much, nor did he let them know his progress. After all, not everyone had the Heaven Lock technique and the Nameless Manual. The Hong Meng Heart Sutra also played a significant role. In the courtyard, Jiang Hao woke up from his meditation. The first rays of the sun fell on him. The warmth soothed him. He stared at the sun for a long time and only looked away when it became too bright. Cheng Cho and the spirit beast accompanied her. It was likely she would get into trouble because of the fallen immortal clan. Shally wouldn't be in danger. The problem was Cheng Cho. People who came from the fallen immortal clan were powerful. A middle-stage foundation establishment realm cultivator might end up dead while facing them. With the spirit beast around, it was much safer. "Master, we're leaving," said the beast. Jiang Hao looked down. The lazy beast was awake. Shaoli was already there to take it along. "Senior brother Jiang, we'll bring you a gift when I come back," Shaoli said seriously. Jiang Hao smiled. When Cheng Cho arrived, the three of them left together. It wouldn't be bad to let them roam around. Jiang Hao headed to the Spirit Her Garden to keep himself busy. Everything went smoothly, and occasional issues were easily resolved. He then headed to the Lawless Tower and deliberately activated the reversal of the Great Thousand Spirit in a corner where Mi Ling Yue couldn't see. There was no reaction from her. Jiang Hao practiced it for another month before he went to find Hai Ming. This time, he used Smiling San Sheng's identity. He found Hai Ming and activated the reversal of the Great Thousand Spirit. Sure enough, he could see that the other party was a member of the Great Thousand God sect. "Why do you think I came to find you?" Jiang Hao asked with a smile. "Aren't you afraid of being discovered?" Hai Ming asked. Jiang Hao thought for a moment. "I remember sending a message to your true self. I've already locked onto her. He'll go find her soon enough. Tell her to be careful." "Ha ha ha." Jiang Hao laughed and then disappeared from a spot. After returning to his dwelling, Jiang Hao thought about Hai Ming. "I still can't tell if he is among the top 3,000 members. It seems I still need to practice more." On a road in the south, a man with a blindfold and a lantern walked under the clear sky. His peculiar appearance attracted the glances of some of the people around. He walked from a bustling area to a barren road. Many people were curious, but as he reached the barren land, no one paid him any mind. They lowered their heads and walked their own paths. Some walked the road for a stroll, while others exhaust their energy just to live, said a man. As he passed by these people, someone approached him. "Senior, we found a location of the Heavenly Notes sect. We can go now." "But I heard that there are rules to follow once inside," the blindfolded man said. "Yes, we can lure people out or use special methods to get in," the person said. "Special methods to get in?" the blindfolded man asked. "Yes, the Heavenly Notes sect has a forest where space distorts. If we find the right way, there's a chance we can enter. Such methods are rare, and even the Heavenly Notes sect may not be aware. We pay attention to the smallest details," said the person. "Is that so? What do we do after we get in?" the blindfolded man asked. "Well, look for a saintess called Miao Tinglian and her partner, Mu Qi. They will know where the Divine Soul is. The Divine Soul is extremely important to us, and we don't want to miss out on it," the person said. "That's the plan, but I'm not sure. Let's give it a try," the blindfolded man said. He continued ahead. "I heard that the heavenly fragrance Tao flower is also there. Can I see it?" he asked. "Senior, you must be joking. If you want to see it, you can, but we'll need to find the exact location of it. We'll send you a message if we find out." "That's good," said the blindfolded man. Chapter 887, Demonis. Want to know how you look in my eyes? Around early February, it was exactly 4 months since Jiang Hao had returned from the West. He had spent most of his time practicing the reversal of the Great Thousand Spirit. He could now detect the members of the Great Thousand God sect without a problem. It was effective, but he still couldn't find Feng Hua's true body. Perhaps it wouldn't take long to find her. Once Feng Hua was captured and put in the Lawless Tower, Jiang Hao would be needed to interrogate her. Sooner or later, he would make her speak. Jiang Hao watered the heavenly fragrance Tao flower and checked his interface. Name, Jiang Hao. Age, 39. Cultivation method, Heavenly Sound 100 Revolutions Hong Ming Heart Sutra, Divine Ability, 9 Revolutions Death Substitution, Unique, Daily Appraisal, Clear and Pure Heart, Reappearance of Hidden Spirit, Divine Might, Revival of Withered Tree, Heavenly Cauldron, Indestructible Vajra, Lifeblood, 95/100 can be cultivated. Cultivation, 93/100 can be cultivated. Divine Abilities, 2/3 cannot be obtained, 39. Jiang Hao couldn't help but feel emotional. He still remembered when he first met Hong Yuya. He was 19. 20 years had passed in the blink of an eye. He was considered middle-aged. He went to the spirit herb garden. It had been a month. Chung Cho and the others should be back by now. He wondered if they would bring trouble back with them. Junior brother Jiang, a man walked over to him. Jiang Hao knew this person. It was senior brother Lien Daoji. He was at the peak of the Golden Core realm. He was almost at the brink of the primordial spirit realm. Jiang Hao knew him because of the incident with the bitter fruit. The spirit beast had snatched away his fruits before. Senior brother Lien, it's been too long, said Jiang Hao. Indeed, Lien Daoji smiled. I wouldn't visit without a reason. This time, I have some matters to discuss with you personally. It's mainly a favor I need to ask from you. Of course, please speak freely, said Jiang Hao. Do you still remember the bitter fruits? Lien Daoji asked. I do. Jiang Hao nodded. The bitter fruits are ripe again. We've been guarding it for a long time. However, like last time, someone must have taken it away. Jiang Hao was stunned. Did the beast snatch away your bitter fruits again? Ha! It's not really snatching it away, is it? It's the survival of the fittest, after all. I was wondering if I could buy them back from you. He'll be honest. I'm about to advance, and I need those fruits badly. Jiang Hao naturally agreed and told him he would personally deliver them in a few days. 3 days later, the spirit beast was back. After he questioned them, Xiao Li handed over the bitter fruits. Jiang Hao sighed. He asked Ching Cho what had happened. The spirit beast and Xiao Li suddenly felt that the fruits were good, so they went to take them. The spirit beast was too powerful, so the others didn't even bother stopping it. If it weren't for the beast declaring its name, they might have never found out who did it. Jiang Hao felt helpless. It wasn't good that the spirit beast gave its name every time it did something, because it would be associated with Jiang Hao eventually. After obtaining the bitter fruits, Jiang Hao went to the Candlelight Pill Pavilion to personally give them to Lien Daoji. This time, Lien Daoji didn't offer him spirit stones, but handed over 200 top-grade spirit herb seeds. He said that these were top-grade spirit herbs from their place, and told Jiang how to try planting them. He emphasized that this was just an experiment, and Jiang Hao didn't have to worry if it didn't turn out well. Thank you, senior brother, Jiang Hao said gratefully. This was much better than spirit stones. I should thank you. If someone else had obtained the bitter fruit, it would be troublesome for me, said Lien Daoji. Both sides were pleased. Jiang Hao brought back 200 high-grade seeds with him. He didn't know how many blue bubbles they would produce. It probably wouldn't be much. After spending 2 days appraising them, he found out that they would take around 6 months to take root and sprout. Moreover, it would require quite a few spirit stones. If no spirit stones were used, it would take almost a year. Jiang Hao calculated that it would cost him about 30,000 spirit stones. He wasn't in a rush, but he was afraid that the sect would issue a task. If that happened, he might have to leave midway. That would be a wasted effort. 2 months later, around early April, Jiang Hao saw some blue bubbles. Cultivation +1, lifeblood +1. He looked at his interface. Lifeblood, 100-100 can be cultivated. Cultivation, 100-100 can be cultivated. After that, he went to the spirit herb garden with the spirit beast to take care of the spirit herbs. In the evening, Jiang Hao returned. After checking the surroundings and making sure everything was safe, he began to cultivate. He closed his eyes and meditated. The next day, at noon, purple energy circulated around Jiang Hao. At that moment, his strength was at its peak. Every part of his body was filled with power. Jiang Hao sighed in relief. Middle stage of the immortal ascension realm. I feel a significant change in my body, and my power is so much more robust now. If I encounter the Holy Master again, he'll be more confident. The previous fight with the Holy Master had not been easy. It's better to improve one's cultivation as much as possible before fighting an enemy. It's the safest. With that in mind, Jiang Hao walked to the courtyard to water the divine flower. He needed to do that task every day. If he missed even one day, all his efforts would be in vain. Getting the bubbles wasn't as easy as he thought. It had become more important since he got very few bubbles after advancing to higher realms. Just as he entered the courtyard, he could smell a faint fragrance. A figure in red appeared in front of him. It was Hong Yuya. She was sitting under a tree and drinking tea. "Greeting, senior." Jiang Hao bowed to her. "Have you advanced?" Hong Yuye turned and looked at Jiang Hao. "Yes." Jiang Hao nodded. "I've advanced to the late stage of the Golden Core realm." Hong Yuye chuckled. "How old are you?" 39. Late stage of the Golden Core realm at 39. "At the very least, I won't let you down, senior," said Jiang Hao. Reaching the late stage of the Golden Core realm at 39 was quite a feat. It was only slightly slower than the one with the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment. "What new cultivation techniques have you practiced?" Hong Yuye asked. Jiang Hao was taken aback. "It seems you're only focused on cultivation and have no idea what kind of person you are." Hong Yuye chuckled. Jiang Hao was even more puzzled. There was nothing special about himself that he had noticed. "Do you want to know what you look like in my eyes?" Hong Yuye stared at Jiang Hao. Chapter 888, Demonis. "If I want to borrow your gaze, will you allow it?" "How do I look in her eyes?" Jiang Hao's heart raced, but he quickly realized that he had misunderstood her. It wasn't about what kind of person he was in the other person's eyes, but rather how Hong Yuye felt about what he had cultivated. In her eyes, his current state was different from usual. After hesitating for a moment, he asked, "Is there something different about he had only been cultivating the reversal of the Great Thousand Spirit lately? Was there an issue with that? Let's start with what you've been cultivating." Hong Yuye gestured for Jiang Hao to sit across from her. He sat down. From the fragrance, he could tell that it was red azure tea. "I've been cultivating the reversal of the Great Thousand Spirit," said Jiang Hao truthfully, and handed her the book he had gotten from Hai Luo. Hong Yuye flipped through it and asked, "How much time did you spend cultivating this?" "It took quite some time," Jiang Hao said. Hong Yuye raised her eyebrows and looked at him. After a while, Hong Yuye placed the book on the table. "Indeed, this can allow one to see the spiritual traces of the Great Thousand God sect. But have you ever thought that you will leave some traces as well?" Hong Yuye looked at Jiang Hao. "The Heavenly King has no fear because his cultivation realm is sufficient and his spirit is refined. He also has the Heavenly King's fortune. But you are only at the Golden Core realm. You might leave quite a bit of traces behind." "But I haven't noticed anything," Jiang Hao said. "Do you feel that you're in danger?" Hong Yuye asked. "The sect is quite safe, but it's always good to be cautious," Jiang Hao said truthfully. Hong Yuye nodded. "You never let down your vigilance, which has made you fall into a blind spot." Seeing Jiang Hao's confusion, Hong Yuye said, "Let go of everything and let yourself completely calm down. In so many years, have you truly found peace?" "Peace?" Jiang Hao was surprised. He thought he had lived peacefully. However, what exactly was true peace? The world was inherently dangerous. Was peace a place with few dangers, or was it letting go of all defenses? If it was the former, he had experienced peace, but if it was the latter, completely letting go of all defenses was something he could never achieve. He was always on guard. Hong Yuye was challenging him to let go of all defenses. He would never be able to completely relax. "Without complete peace, you won't see your true self," she said. "Are you afraid of me?" "No," said Jiang Hao. "I respect you, senior." "What's your cultivation realm?" she asked. "Late stage of the Golden Core realm." "What do you think my cultivation realm is?" "Maybe beyond the Immortal Ascension platform. Would it be possible for someone in my realm to kill someone at the Golden Core realm? It would be as easy as a flick of finger. Then, if I really wanted to kill you, would I go through all the trouble of making you lower your guard?" Jiang Hao lowered his head. That was true. If she wanted to kill him, she wouldn't bother making him lower his defenses. However, it was natural for him to be wary. He couldn't just lower all his defenses. He wanted to do as best as he could to survive. Even if she wasn't present, he wouldn't be able to let his guard down. After a moment of silence, Hong Yuye smiled. "So, do you want to see yourself through my eyes?" Jiang Hao hesitated and then nodded. Hong Yuye reached out, and Jiang Hao placed his hands in hers. "Close your eyes and resonate your energy to the palm imprint on your chest," said Hong Yuye. Jiang Hao nodded and then activated his spiritual energy. His eyes were tightly closed. He appeared calm, but some spiritual fluctuations occurred around him. It was not as calm as it appeared. His spirit was striking as if it expanded outward for some unknown reason. Although restrained, it was not as smooth as it should be. There were crinkles in the corner of his aura that couldn't blend in completely. It seemed to be caused by improper use of the spiritual aspects. At that moment, the warmth in his chest disappeared and the image vanished. When he opened his eyes, he realized that was how she saw him. However, something seemed strange. It appeared that the vision was not complete. He could only see the spiritual part. Hong Yuye withdrew her hand. Did you see it? Yes. Thank you, Senior. Jiang Hao nodded. In the past, he had no idea that there were spiritual traces in his body. He realized that cultivating the reversal of the Great Thousand Spirit was not as easy as he had imagined. There were drawbacks to it. If he encountered a powerful practitioner from the Great Thousand God sect, they would easily notice him. However, he wasn't sure how to find a solution to this. Hong Yuye smiled. How do you want to thank me for that? Jiang Hao was stunned. What do you want me to do for you, Senior? Jiang Hao asked cautiously. Come here. Hong Yuye beckoned. Jiang Hao got up and walked over to her, in confusion. Hong Yuye placed her hand on his chest and activated the palm imprint. A sharp pain surged through Jiang Hao's body. At the same time, he felt a vast power. He was blasted away. Thud! Jiang Hao collided with the wall. It hurt a bit. Hong Yuye smiled. Consider that as a thank you gift. Jiang Hao stood up and nodded. He couldn't understand whether getting blasted away was the thank you gift or the palm imprint. However, it was the first time he had seen himself through someone else's vision. How much can your gaze see? Hong Yuye asked while sipping tea. Not much, said Jiang Hao. Not even with the heaven lock technique? She asked. It reveals some of the hidden things, but I can't see much even with it, Jiang Hao said. If one day I want to borrow your heaven lock technique to see something, will you agree to it? Hong Yuye asked. Jiang Hao was surprised. If he was right, one needed to have the palm imprint to borrow the other person's vision. That meant the person doing the borrowing must have the palm imprint on their body. Jiang Hao tried not to think about what that might mean. What are you thinking about? Hong Yuye suddenly asked. Nothing. Jiang Hao hurriedly said. I was just thinking about what you asked. I would definitely assist you as best as I can. Would you lend me all your strength? Hong Yuye asked. Yes. Jiang Hao nodded. Hong Yuye looked at Jiang Hao closely. He didn't know what she might be thinking. Chapter 889. Reporting to the law enforcement hall in the mountain village in the west, an elegant woman stood before the village. She was surrounded by a celestial aura and seemed detached from worldly affairs. She gazed at the abandoned village in silence. Her eyes were calm, but a bit nostalgic. After a long while, she walked toward the village. Her celestial aura gradually diminished, like she was finally descending on the mortal realm. People on the road avoided her. The woman observed them, but said nothing. Some people remained content where they were. They didn't want anything. Others always looked for an opportunity to be better. The woman looked at a person and snapped her fingers. She gave the person a chance. Whether they accepted it or not depended on them. Finally, the woman arrived in front of a collapsed house. She stood there silently. As the sun set, she walked toward the slope behind the village. She noticed a grave along the way. The place was overgrown with weeds, but the grave was neat. Her steps suddenly slowed. It was as though it took her immense effort to take another step toward it. She stood in front of the grave. Her calm facade cracked as she looked at the tombstone. She opened her mouth, but didn't say a word. Tears streamed down her face. Father, mother, I'm here. Your daughter is now an immortal. Yin Yuezhi knelt in front of the tombstone and wept. Long-buried memories resurfaced and made her nostalgic for her parents. After a long time, Yin Yuezhi finally calmed down. She examined the tombstone and was surprised to sense an extraordinary presence. The graves exuded a hint of spiritual energy. The weeds that grew around were not ordinary. Who has been tending to this grave? She thought for a moment. She couldn't believe it. Did the grave change just because that person cleaned it? Yin Yuezhi spent a few days at the graves and finally left. She spoke a lot about her journey in those 3 days. She talked at length about her struggle and her efforts. She wished her parents were still around. Her eyes turned red with emotion. She promised to live a good life and fulfill her parents' expectations. After leaving the hill, she calmed down. A while later, Yin Yuezhi appeared at the Jinxing cliff. She had always known that there was something below the cliff, but she had forgotten many things from the past. She had been here before. Beyond that, she couldn't remember anything. I wonder what's below. Yin Yuezhi had no intention of going down. She just stood there and observed. Suddenly, a roar echoed. A dragon's cry resonated in all directions. 3 figures swiftly flew up from below, with the illusions of real dragons chasing behind them. Whoosh! The 3 figures soared into the sky, followed closely by the dragon shadows. Yin Yuezhi was surprised. With a wave of her hand, a powerful force suppressed the dragon's roar. Boom! The dragon illusion was barred. At that moment, the dragon's shadow turned to look at her. Finally, it dissipated in the sky. Yin Yuezhi was speechless. It seemed like she had angered the dragon clan for no reason. She saw a white light as she watched the 3 figures leave. It was the moon wheel. The one with the heavenly Tao Foundation establishment had the moon wheel. After that, she turned and left. At the Heavenly Note sect, Jianghao returned to the Cliff of Broken Hearts Spirit Herb Garden in the evening. Hong Yui's words worried him a bit. His thoughts had run wild. Luckily, he had time to calm himself down after she left. Whenever she was around, the Heaven Extinction Goo poison had no effect. But after she left, the poison helped him calm his state of mind. Before leaving, Hong Ye had helped examine the reversal of the Great Thousand Spirit. In the end, she extracted a small technique from it. With that technique, he could verify whether someone else was from the Great Thousand God sect. The likelihood of being discovered was high, but it was still useful. Since he was going to try it, he should be prepared. If he was discovered, he needed to be ready to defend himself. Jiang Hao learned the small technique because he didn't want to rely on the reversal of the Great Thousand Spirit entirely. Fortunately, the spiritual remnant he had left behind had disappeared. Although he couldn't bring himself to completely relax, his condition seemed to be fine. Most likely, Hong Yui's palm technique had taken care of it. Jiang Hao, besides taking care of the Spirit Herb Garden, waited for news from the Lawless Tower. However, before receiving any tasks from the Lawless Tower, he received the sect mission first. This made him somewhat worried. The high-grade spirit herbs still required 4 more months to mature. If he set out early, the spirit stones he had spent would go to waste. It wouldn't just be the loss of spirit stones. He wouldn't receive any bubbles either. Senior Brother Jiang, you have been assigned a mission. Cheng Cho informed him as Jiang Hao arrived at the Spirit Herb Garden. It's a patrol mission, Cheng Cho said. A patrol mission? Tiang Hao was curious. It was the first time he had heard of a patrol mission. Occasionally, he saw some sect members patrolling the area. Did they say where? Jiang Hao asked. For the patrol mission, you have to report to the law enforcement hall, and then assignments will be given, Cheng Cho said. I've done this mission before, and there's no distinction in the cultivation realm. In a team, there might be people from the lifeblood refinement realm, foundation establishment realm, and golden core realm. What about primordial spirit realm? Jiang Hao asked. That Cheng Cho was a bit embarrassed. I don't have a high enough cultivation realm to recognize them, even if I met them. Jiang Hao nodded. It was unexpected that he had to report to the law enforcement hall. Usually, he was caught and escorted there. This time, he had to report for duty. Life was truly unpredictable. He asked for more details, and Cheng Cho explained as best as he could. Patrols may not return daily, but there was no fixed time to report for duty. As long as a person reported within 6 months, it was quite all right. The patrol period lasted for half a year. Jiang Hao breathed a sigh of relief. He still had a chance to collect the bubbles. He had spent 30,000 spirit stones. If he couldn't collect the bubbles, the losses would have been big. In the south, Old Man Corpse walked through the mountains and forests and gazed into the distance. He'll go to Heavenly Gates sect first. The south might provide many gains. There might be some special places that I can find. With his cultivation, He naturally couldn't rely on the goodwill of the Heavenly Gate sect to provide information. But he could open the gates of the corpse sea and let some corpses out. He had nothing to fear. Chapter 890. The Circle of Time. As the sun rose in the morning, Jiang Hao left the courtyard with the spirit beast and headed to the spirit herb garden. He returned to the courtyard at sunset. He repeated this daily. Time passed quickly, and Jiang Hao continued to spend spirit stones while also working hard to earn them. However, what he earned was far from enough to cover his expenses. 4 months later, around early August, Jiang Hao's spirit stones decreased by 25,000. He was only left with 180,000. He considered spending 10,000 spirit stones on the divine soul of the Holy Master. He still had much to absorb. He decided to do it little by little. He headed to the spirit herb garden early that day. Why are you up so early today, Master? The spirit beast yawned. The peach tree was ripening, and Shally occasionally ate the fruits before dinner. Master, I feel someone approaching us. But when they hear my voice, they retreat, said the spirit beast. Jiang Hao didn't pay much attention. There had been people from the Heavenly Saints sect who approached him during this time, but they weren't afraid of the spirit beast. They were just observing him. Soon, someone would take action. Whether they were here from Miao Tinglian or Mu Qi remained to be seen. Apart from the Heavenly Saints sect, there were also people from the Great Thousand God sect. However, they weren't very strong. Regarding the sect mission, the people from the law enforcement hall had urged him to join 3 times already. With only 2 months remaining, he had to go. There was still no news from the Lawless Tower. Perhaps they were taking things slow because of the reversal of the Great Thousand Spirit technique. The fallen Immortal clan hadn't made a move yet, so the Great Thousand God sect was waiting. Before, it was difficult to find them, but now it was much easier. At the Spirit Herb Garden, Jiang Hao saw many bubbles as he entered. There were all sorts of bubbles, blue, green, white. He sighed in relief. Junior brother Jiang. Miao Tinglian called for him. He pretended not to have heard and walked toward the bubbles instead. He collected the bubbles. Soon after, numerous bubbles merged into his body. Strength +1, Spirit Sword +1, Cultivation +1, Lifeblood +1, Cultivation +1. Dozens of bubbles flowed into his body, and he could feel the changes. Miao Tinglian walked over to him. Junior brother Jiang, what are you doing? Senior sister Miao, what brings you here? Jiang Hao felt helpless. Miao Tinglian's cultivation realm had indeed improved. If her talent wasn't properly utilized, it would be such a waste. Let me tell you something, she said, when you go for your patrolling mission. As for senior sister Lu from the law enforcement hall. Was this who Miao Tinglian was referring to? She seemed to be in the early stage of the primordial spirit realm. He wondered how Miao Tinglian knew her. Jiang Hao explained why he was there. For now, you can start from the outer sect. If you achieve something, you can choose your preferred route. Of course, you can also follow the sect's arrangements and patrol the entire sect, senior sister Lu said. Jiang Hao nodded. He didn't expect to be able to choose his own route, but it was only possible if he had achievements. It was safer to start with the outer sect. With a Lifeblood Refinement Realm Cultivator and 2 Foundation Establishment Realm Cultivators, safety was a priority. The next day, Jiang Hao received the list of names. There were a total of 5 people on the team, including him. The 4 others were Zhang Shijio from the Ice Moon Valley, Lin Mo from the Law Enforcement Peak, Zhao Qingxue from the White Moon Lake, and Lin Ji from the Cliff of Broken Hearts. Jiang Hao was stunned. Who had chosen Lin Ji? Somebody must have helped him. Without someone's influence, he wouldn't be chosen for a sect mission. Patrol missions were usually not dangerous. Did the person want Lin Ji to get some reward? He looked at Lin Mo and Zhao Qingshu's names, and something dawned on him. Perhaps it was because of them. There was also senior brother Zhang. He didn't expect to meet him again. The mission was to begin 3 days later. They would meet and set off. Jiang Hao was supposed to lead the group. 3 days later, Jiang Hao arrived at the foot of the law enforcement peak and waited quietly. Zhang Shijio was the first to arrive. He smiled when he saw Jiang Hao. Junior brother Jiang, We meet again. Senior brother Zheng. How have you been? Jiang Hao said politely. All good. Once again, we'll have to rely on your strength, junior brother Jiang. I still hope I can rely on your help, senior brother Zheng. Whenever he was busy, senior brother Zheng always handled the matters. Jiang Hao liked working with him. The three others were recruited into the sect when they had been all together. If senior sister Yu and senior sister Xian were here, it would be a reunion. It was as though time had made a full circle. Chapter 891. Senior brother. Your choice is two. Ordinary Jiang Hao and Zheng Shizhou had known each other for a long time. They had known each other from when Jiang Hao was 19. Back then, senior brother Zheng was in the late stage of the Foundation establishment realm. 20 years later, he had made it to the early stage of the Golden Core realm. He was, in fact, at the brink of the middle stage. At that time, Jiang Hao had been in the early stage of the Foundation establishment realm too. He had made it to the middle stage of the Immortal Ascension platform. Unknowingly, I came this far. Jiang Hao felt like 20 years ago had been just yesterday. 20 years ago, when we first met, you were only at the early stage of the Foundation establishment realm. Now, you're already in the late stage of the Golden Core realm. You surpassed me by a lot, said Zheng Shizhou. At that time, I never expected that you'd progress this much. I was just lucky, Jiang Hao said modestly. This is not just luck, junior brother Jiang. I think you might have a chance of becoming a top disciple in the future. I wonder if we'll still do tasks together, Tanin, said Znangxi Jili. Senior brother, you must be joking. Regardless, you are still my senior. I often find myself relying on your strength, said Jiang Hao. Even if he became a top disciple, he would still address Zheng Shizhou as senior. If it made him uncomfortable, he wouldn't do it. But he knew Zheng Shizhou would be okay with it. They had worked together so many times before. It was the same with Miao Tinglian and Mu Qi. They treated him well and took care of him. So, he would always address them as seniors. In the Cliff of Broken Hearts, apart from Shaoli, they were the closest to him. He wasn't sure if Miao Tinglian was nice to him because he had helped her before, or if she was naturally friendly. Although he didn't like it when she pestered him to find a partner, he hadn't said anything to her. Lin Mo, Zhao, Qingxue, and Lin Ji. We recruited them together back then. I never thought we would be doing missions together, said Zheng Shizhou. Jiang Hao nodded. Time really did fly by. The young disciples who had just joined the sect back then had become so powerful. Perhaps one day, they will surpass us all, Jiang Hao said. Ha ha, Zheng 19 said bitterly. Junior brother Jiang, please don't even joke about it. I feel like they won't be able to surpass you. Jiang Hao did not say anything. Zheng Shizhou truly believed that these three couldn't surpass Jiang Hao. He also thought that Jiang Hao himself had secrets. He had sensed something when they had worked together before. However, he hadn't paid much attention to it at that time. Some things were better left unknown. The three others arrived after a while. Zheng Shizhou didn't mind waiting. He knew Lin Ji was here because of Jiang Hao. It was well known that Jiang Hao had helped Lin Ji immensely so that he could stay in the sect. Otherwise, how would he still be in the sect despite not being able to advance from the lifeblood refinement realm? Moreover, he wouldn't have been selected for sect missions. Jiang Hao was concerned about Lin Mo. Lin Mo was a part of the law enforcement hall. He definitely had some connections. Even if Lin Mo didn't have a very high cultivation realm, he could still help Lin Ji through his connections. However, it was quite dangerous for Lin Ji. Jiang Hao felt helpless. There was nothing he could do except help Lin Ji become stronger in the coming months. He also needed to find a time to give him some magical treasures. He hadn't met him in so many months. Senior brother Jiang? Lin Ji was surprised to see Jiang Hao. He felt embarrassed. He looked as though he wanted to explain himself. Jiang Hao smiled and just nodded. Lin Mo and Zhao Qingxue greeted them without emotion. We apologize for the wait, seniors. Zheng 19 frowned. It seemed that these two had forgotten about him. It seemed they lacked basic courtesy too. In the sect, it wasn't necessary to be influential, but it was important to make sure one didn't offend others. Sometimes, small matters could lead to huge resentment. If they hadn't recruited these 3 young people, it wouldn't matter. However, since Jiang Hao and Zheng Shizhou had been among the ones who recruited them, some form of recognition and politeness was expected. They had made rapid progress and were strong, so that might protect them. Zheng Shizhou didn't say anything. He felt that Jiang Hao didn't mind it either. "Let's go," Jiang Hao said. After that, the 5 flew on their swords. Lin Mo led Lin Ji along. Jiang Hao didn't pay much attention to what they were planning. He would observe them first. For outer sect patrols, there was a place where shifts had to be handed over to others. It might just be time for the handover. After a while, they arrived at the outpost. It was located in the mountains and was surrounded by rocks. In front of them, there was a stream. There were some people there in groups of 3 and 5. It seemed like they were all waiting. Jiang Hao walked into the innermost hut. A man in the primordial spirit realm looked at him. "Jiang Hao, the Cliff of Broken Hearts?" "Yes." Jiang Hao nodded. "I saw your name at the law enforcement hall. It's quite surprising for you to be assigned to a patrol mission. Which route do you want?" he asked. Jiang Hao was surprised. The man laughed. "Surprised? A bit." Jiang Hao nodded. "No need to be surprised. Perhaps the place you want to go to is the place we need to investigate more," the middle-aged man said. Jiang Hao understood. Jiang Hao was still a suspect. So, whichever route he chose would be monitored closely. Jiang Hao chose the safest route. The area was not small, but the location was great. It was a place unexposed to outside forces. There were no dangers around. The others there were also from the outer sect, so it should be relatively safe. The most likely danger would be from spies. After all, many undercover agents had joined the sect and were most likely among the outer sect disciples. This area is mostly for the outer sect disciples to rest and cultivate. The middle-aged man was surprised by Jiang Hao's choice. There wouldn't be many dangers here, but there wouldn't be any gains either. The patrol missions were sometimes beneficial because some seniors occasionally gave lectures on cultivation. Patrolling was safe and had benefits, but Jiang Hao hadn't chosen any of the good routes. He had chosen the one that was the most ordinary. Lin Mo frowned. "Senior Brother Jiang, can we patrol the public alchemy area of the Candlelight Pill Pavilion instead?" There were always things happening at the alchemy area of the Candlelight Pill Pavilion. If one wanted to learn something from there, they had to pay a small price. "This junior has a point." The middle-aged man laughed. "How about going to the alchemy area of the Candlelight Pill Pavilion instead?" Jiang Hao looked at Lin Mo and shook his head. "Let's start from here first." "All right." Then the middle-aged man gave Jiang Hao a token. "It's just the right time for the handover. The token has the patrol route. If anything happens, you can activate the token, and our people will come to find you." Jiang Hao nodded and thanked him. He then led the group away. Lin Mo and Zhao Qingxue seemed reluctant. Chapter 892. Advanced on the spot. The sect is not safe lately. "Let's stay in the outer sect area for a while," said Jiang Hao calmly. It seemed that people like Lin Mo were planning to go to the alchemy area of the Candlelight Pill Pavilion, which was opposite to Jiang Hao's decision. "Senior Brother Jiang, we asked around and found out that some things are happening in the alchemy area of the Candlelight Pill Pavilion," said Lin Mo earnestly. "We might gain something there." Zhao Qingxue said, "I heard from some seniors from the White Moon Lake that many people in the Candlelight Pill Pavilion are currently refining pills. If we go there, it might benefit our cultivation immensely." Jiang Hao looked at the two and sighed inwardly. What cultivation benefits did they expect to get at their level? They believed they could benefit because they already had the advantage. What about the others? Besides, many people gathering in one place meant that there was definitely something strange going on there. Jiang Hao shook his head. "Your cultivation realms are still weak. Let's try the outer sect area first. But if we don't choose now, we'll need achievements later to make a choice. We finally have a chance because of the seniors." Lin Mo exclaimed. Jiang Hao had his doubts. Did the senior from before offer him a choice of routes because of Lin Mo and Zhao Qingxue? It was not entirely unbelievable. Where there was competition, there was likely something troublesome brewing. In contrast, the outer sect area was different. He could turn a blind eye and be safe. Senior brother, it's not too late to change our minds, said Lin Mo. Jiang Hao lowered his head. He was in a dilemma. If it were any other time, he would have taken action, but he didn't want to deal with these two in front of Lin Ji. Junior brother Lin, said Zheng Shurjiu coldly, don't you think you've gone too far? Do you think you can do whatever you want? Lin Mo wanted to speak, but he was pulled back by Lin Ji. Why are you pulling me away? Lin Mo turned back angrily. Just listen to senior brother, Lin Ji whispered. Lin Mo was still frustrated, but didn't say anything more. Jiang Hao looked at them, and then turned away. Let's go. It was quite troublesome, but it was harmless. He didn't need to pay too much attention to it. Everyone had their own thoughts and opinions. He couldn't force them to follow him. After completing the handover, Jiang Hao led the group on their swords to start their patrol. Below were many outer sect disciples. Some were chopping wood to temper their bodies. Some were carrying water, and a few were meditating and cultivating. At that moment, the people looked up. They all yearned to be immortal cultivators and fly on their swords. Jiang Hao sighed with emotion. More than 20 years ago, he was like that. He would look up at the powerful people and wish for the same. He assumed they were on important business too. But it turned out they were also just patrolling at that time. He had become the person he had admired when he was a child. It didn't make him feel at ease. Back then, he thought it was much safer after reaching the Foundation Establishment realm. However, when he reached that realm, he realized the danger was just beginning. Jiang Hao's divine light converged, and he gained some insight. His aura suddenly diminished. The others didn't notice anything, but Zheng Shurjiu felt that something was strange. However, it was very vague. He calmed down. It was probably Jiang Hao's influence. Someone below is fighting, Zhao Qingxiu said. Jiang Hao and the others looked down. They saw 3 outer sect disciples joining forces to deal with a young boy. At first, the young boy withstood them, but he was failing. Jiang Hao ignored it and continued flying on his sword. A pressure descended. In an instant, the 4 people below were terrified. They didn't dare fight. Such trivial matters shouldn't concern us, said Jiang Hao. They were on patrol. They weren't expected to intervene in matters that didn't concern the sect. If people stopped fighting after noticing the immortals flying in the sky, it was because they were terrified of standing out. It would be dangerous to be noticed. The patrol lasted for a day or 2. After that, they went back to rest and waited for the next shift. The outer sect area was vast, and they had only covered a small part of it. Jiang Hao was on duty. Lin Ji walked over to him. Senior brother Jiang, I think senior brother Lin Mo and senior sister Zhao Qingxiu have brought me along because they think my cultivation hasn't progressed, said Lin Ji in explanation. Jiang Hao looked at him. Before you advanced, did they approach you? Lin Ji was stunned. Yes, they did. Did you agree to it? Jiang Hao asked. Lin Ji shook his head. No, I didn't. This is the power of strength and influence. It will unknowingly change you even when you try not to let it, said Jiang Hao, and looked at him. It's not a bad thing. It's also inevitable. But if you let it get to your head, it'll be your doom. Lin Ji finally realized it. He hadn't thought about it before. So, what should I do? He asked. Let it be for now. You don't need to do anything. Just understand what's happening and keep yourself in check. After that, he asked Lin Ji to sit down, and he explained some details of the Star Moon Lifeblood Refinement cultivation at length. When he was explaining, Zheng Shurjiu approached them and stood guard. Jiang Hao continued with the lesson. Now, he'll explain the various stages of lifeblood refinement and some foundation establishment. It might be useful for you in the future. Zheng Shurjiu hesitated and looked at Jiang Hao. When he realized that Jiang Hao didn't mind, he also sat down. He thought there was nothing he didn't know about lifeblood refinement and foundation establishment realm. Jiang Hao explained the lifeblood refinement realm in great detail. Lin Ji understood only part of it, but Zheng Shurjiu became more attentive as he listened. He found it unbelievable. There were many things he hadn't understood, even though he had advanced beyond that realm. Later, when the explanation moved to the foundation establishment realm, he felt even more shocked. The realm that had been static all along was unexpectedly pulsating. Zheng Shizhou looked at Jiang Hao in awe. If his explanations continued, he felt that he might find the opportunity to actually advance in his cultivation. Although Jiang Hao didn't look at senior brother Zheng, he sensed the change in his aura. He said to Lin Ji, "I will continue with the Golden Core Realm explanation." After a while, the Golden Core aura spread. Zheng Shizhou advanced on the spot. Chapter 893. Meeting a strong enemy. Lin Mo and Zhao Qingxue were meditating. They were thinking about how to proceed next. They had planned this for a very long time. They couldn't let Jiang Hao ruin their plans. The only solution was to go their own way. They needed to find an opening to meet the patrolling members of the Candlelight Pill Pavilion and then pass through. However, before they could start discussing their next step, a sudden golden core aura spread everywhere. They were startled. They rushed over and found that senior brother Zheng had advanced unexpectedly to the middle stage of the golden core realm. This surprised them. How had he advanced here, of all places? Lin Ji was deep in thought, and Jiang Hao was sitting cross-legged on the ground. When the two arrived, Jiang Hao made a shushing gesture and told them to step back. Zheng Shizhou shouldn't be disturbed in the middle of advancement. Jiang Hao switched patrols with someone the next day and waited for Zheng Shizhou to finish his advancement. It took 3 days. Senior brother Zheng successfully advanced, with Jiang Hao guarding him throughout. Ordinarily, it would have taken a longer time. "Sorry for the trouble, junior brother Jiang," said Zheng Shizhou in gratitude. He knew that advancement required its own time, and disrupting it in the middle was fatal. They could take from a few days up to a month. This time, it was quick because Jiang Hao helped. "It was nothing, senior brother Zheng," Jiang Hao said politely. After that, he planned to start patrolling again. During these 3 days, Lin Mo and Zhao Qingxue spent most of their time outside. Jiang Hao didn't pay much attention to them. Since he had mentioned that they could use that time for anything, he had no right to meddle. He had only told them not to cause trouble with others. They were resting outside the outer gate during patrols, with Jiang Hao leading the way. They avoided crowded places. Their task was to patrol quietly. "Senior brother, after patrolling, can we have some free time?" Lin Mo suddenly asked. "Sure. Half an hour of free time," said Jiang Hao. "Can we split up during patrols?" Lin Mo looked at Jiang Hao. "Sometimes, patrolling separately is faster and more thorough. Junior brother Lin, junior sister Zhao, and I would like to try it by ourselves." Jiang Hao looked at them. It was unreasonable to split up, but if they wanted to go to the alchemy area of the Candlelight Pill Pavilion that badly, he wouldn't stop them. If he refused, they might do something stupid later. "Sure, but do it at your own risk," said Jiang Hao. "All right," Lin Mo nodded. "We understand the rules. Sometimes danger comes silently. Be careful during your patrols and know when to retreat. Sometimes the enemy may not want trouble, so they might strike stealthily," said Jiang Hao. Lin Mo and the others agreed. Jiang Hao didn't know whether they took it to heart, and it didn't matter to him. On the other side, in the forest, a blindfolded man with a lantern appeared at the edge of the forest with a young man. "Senior, this should be the place," the young man said. "This should be the outer gate of the Heavenly Note sect." "We arrived so quickly," the blindfolded man said with a sigh. "Are the people here dangerous?" "It's hard to say," the young man said. "For you, senior, it shouldn't be too dangerous." "You're joking," the blindfolded man said softly. "If the Holy Master's divine soul was snatched away in this place, it means this place is not so simple. The people here might be quite dangerous. Otherwise, why is the heavenly fragrance Tao flower still thriving here? Let's go. Someone is coming this way. They must have noticed us." "Someone is coming." The young man frowned and looked at the people who appeared at the edge of the forest. "Who are you?" Zhao Qingxue asked. Jiang Hao wanted to stop her, but couldn't in time. The two people suddenly speared at the edge of the forest and caught him off guard. Otherwise, he would have steered the group away. Zhao Qingxue had already spoken, so they couldn't pretend to not have seen these two people. It wasn't normal for someone to carry a lantern in broad daylight. Considering the fluctuations in spiritual energy, these two were definitely not ordinary. The young man next to the blindfolded man let off a murderous intent. "What's the matter, little girl?" The blindfolded man walked out of the forest. Jiang Hao felt the surrounding aura change when they appeared in front of them. He didn't let Zhao Qingxue speak. "Seniors, why are you here at the outer gate?" asked Jiang Hao. "We were just taking a relaxing stroll." The blindfolded man turned to Jiang Hao. "Are you on duty here, Junior?" "Yes." "Apologies for the interruption," said Jiang Hao. "Do you have something to ask?" said the blindfolded man politely. "We will cooperate fully." "No need. You're free to go, seniors," Jiang Hao said. Zhao Qingxue wanted to speak, but Jiang Hao stopped her. After the people left, she said, "Senior brother Jiang, those two are suspicious." "Suspicious?" Jiang Hao turned to look at her. "What's so suspicious about them?" "The lantern in broad daylight, for one. There is no such person in our sect. If there were, we would have heard rumors," Zhao Qingxue said seriously. "Yeah." Jiang Hao nodded. "Indeed, there aren't any. But what if there's someone who has been outside for a long time and are returning?" Zhao Qingxue hesitated. "Then we should ask which branch they are from. We can at least verify. Moreover, he seems nice." He said he'd cooperate. Jiang Hao nodded slightly and didn't say much. He left. He knew they were from the Great Thousand God sect. He activated the reversal of the Great Thousand Spirit. The two people were definitely from the Great Thousand God sect. The one holding the lantern was especially powerful. There was no need to create trouble when they could avoid it. He could report it later. It was surprising that someone from the Great Thousand God sect had entered the forest. Meanwhile, the blindfolded man continued ahead. "You're just letting them go, Senior? Shouldn't we eliminate the witnesses?" The young man asked. "No, we should adhere to the rules here. Besides, they were very polite, so we should return the favor. We aren't here for them anyway. There is no need to create unnecessary trouble. Moreover, we should understand. They're just doing their jobs. We are all practitioners on the path of cultivation, and the road beneath our feet is not always easy. There's no need to make things difficult for each other," the blindfolded man said calmly. The young man didn't fully understand it, but he didn't press further. He was more concerned about what to do next. Should we go find the saintess of the Heavenly Saint sect now? No rush. The Heavenly Saint sect may have valuable information. There are bound to be strong individuals around them. Let's explore first. Perhaps we'll find other things. Besides, more people from the Heavenly Saint sect will likely appear. There's no need for us to rush, the blindfolded man said as he looked at the sky. Chapter 894. You should know when to stop. Junior brother, the patrol ended. They had half an hour of free time. Lin Mo and Zhao Qingxue left. They were uncertain about what they were going to do. After some thought, Jiang Hao went to the hut where the shifts were handed over. A senior at the Soul Ascension realm was there. "Any questions, junior brother Jiang?" he asked. "Senior brother Wang, greetings." Jiang Hao bowed. "Are you changing your route?" "That's all right, of course," senior brother Wang said with a smile. Jiang Hao shook his head. "Senior brother Wang, may I ask something?" "Go ahead," senior brother Wang said generously. "Do you know if there are any seniors in our sect who carry lanterns carrying a lantern during the day?" Senior brother Wang frowned. "Have you met someone like that?" "Yes. I met them during the patrol on the edge of the forest," Jiang Hao said. Senior brother Wang lowered his head in thought. "Anything else that stood out?" "He was blindfolded," Jiang Hao said. Senior brother Wang nodded and let Jiang Hao go. He advised him not to make a big deal out of this matter. Jiang Hao nodded and left. That was all he could do. As for how the sect would handle it, that was their business. He wouldn't confront such a powerful enemy recklessly. Senior brother Wang seemed to know who the person was and would likely make some preparations. After all, as someone from the law enforcement hall, he would know more about such matters than anyone else. As for the person's visit, it was probably related to the Holy Master. There was a chance that he was here from Miao Tinglian and Mu Qi. The sect had dealt with the Heavenly Saints sect many times before. They knew about the Holy Master and the connection to Miao Tinglian and Mu Qi. Most probably, they would be used as bait. Muchi could handle himself. The sect might just observe him. The people of the Lawless Tower might already be in wait. Back at the resting area, Jiang Hao found Lin Mo and the others. Lin Mo smiled and said, "Senior brother Jiang, tomorrow we plan to patrol on our own." Jiang Hao nodded. The next day, the patrol started at noon. Jiang Hao watched as Lin Mo, Zhao Qingxue, and Lin Ji left. "Aren't you bothered by it, junior brother Jiang?" Zheng Shijio curiously asked. Bothered by what? Jiang Hao went his own way. Without the three young followers, he felt that the patrol proceeded much faster. Although junior brother Lin Mo and junior sister Zhao Qingxue have great talents, they are only in the middle stage of the Foundation establishment realm. It's unacceptable for them to act so recklessly on the sect missions, Zheng Shijio said. They have made up their minds. There's no need to stop them, Jiang Hao said. It's better to guide them than to stop them. Everyone is responsible for their own actions. Although they are in the Foundation establishment realm, they are not children anymore. Zheng Shijio nodded. He felt that Jiang Hao was wise. At that time, a man below sneaked into a room, stole a jade bracelet, and smiled smugly. But the next moment, he fainted. Jiang Hao took the jade bracelet. He wiped the bracelet and wrapped it up in a rag. He then placed it back in its spot. He didn't pay attention to the unconscious. When he woke up, he would leave as though nothing had happened. Zheng Shijio looked at Jiang Hao. "Do you know the owner of the bracelet, junior brother Jiang?" Jiang Hao shook his head. "I don't." Then Zheng Shijio found it strange. "Is it strange?" Jiang Hao looked at him and said with a smile, "It's not necessarily a good or a bad thing to intervene sometimes. It just helps to keep my conscience clear." Zheng Shijio couldn't fully understand Jiang Hao. For a moment, he didn't know whether Jiang Hao wanted to help people, or he was just doing it for the sake of it. But the owner of the bracelet won't know about this. "They won't appreciate your help," Zheng Shijio said. "It's not necessary for people to know about it. Not everything has to be acknowledged," Jiang Hao said calmly. They reached the sky. They saw a dark-skinned girl running below. She stumbled and fell, but she didn't care. When she returned to the small hut and saw the bracelet wrapped in a rag, she relaxed. She clutched the bracelet tightly, as if she was afraid it would be stolen. Jiang Hao saw this, but didn't pay any attention to it. Zheng Shijio remembered the girl. As a golden core cultivator, the smallest things could determine one's future. On the first day of going their separate ways, Lin Mo and the others returned with some pills. The same happened on the second day. There were none on the third. Jiang Hao didn't mind. Around the middle of August, on the seventh day, Lin Mo, Zhao Qingxue, and Lin Ji walked toward the alchemy area of the Candlelight Pill Pavilion. They had received information that someone had broken the rules not far ahead. They were secretly practicing alchemy in the alchemy area. After a while, they arrived at the area. There was a Foundation establishment realm cultivator who was refining pills. As they approached, a pleasant fragrance wafted from the pill furnace. The pills were ready. At that moment, the cultivator excitedly carried the pills and headed outside. However, Lin Mo and the others blocked his path. "Senior brother, please wait a moment," Lin Mo said. "We heard that you used special means to enter the alchemy area." Everyone understood. As long as the pills were ready, no one would investigate the matter further. It wasn't a big deal to use other means to enter the area. Some people did it so that they could have the area to themselves. "Junior brother, you should just let things go sometimes. You come here too many times too." "Let this slide, all right?" said the person. "Isn't this too much? Why are you blaming us when you are the one coming here secretly?" Asked Lin Mo. "We always have to return empty-handed. Every time you come here, you take something with you. When others are gaining a bit, you still want it for yourself. You should know when to stop, junior brother." "But this time, you didn't come back empty-handed," Lin Mo said. The senior at the Foundation establishment realm looked at Lin Mo and smiled. "Junior brother, why are you being so pushy? You come here so many times. Just let be this once." "Senior brother, I'm just following the rules of the sect." Lin Mo looked at the senior in front of him. I just want to ask if you used any special methods to enter the area. If you returned the pills, the matter would be resolved. However, to Lin Mo's surprise, the senior nodded with a smile. Yes, I did. What would you have me do, junior brother? Lin Mo frowned. Senior brother, do you know that entering without following the normal procedure will result in punishment? Some people chose the punishment rather than return the pills. People were often punished unless they were someone powerful or influential. I remember you, said the late-stage Foundation Establishment Realm Cultivator. You've been coming here these past few days. Aren't you afraid of offending people with such frequent visits? Offending people, Lin Mo said. I'm a disciple of the law enforcement hall. If you violate the rules and I catch you, am I to blame for that? Law enforcement hall? No wonder. The senior's smile turned unfriendly. Have you ever considered that some people have to follow rules and compromise because they have no choice, while others do as they please? What do you mean? Lin Mo asked. Nothing, just that I admire you for being so bold to the point of arrogance, even when you are only at the middle stage of the Foundation Establishment realm. Sometimes, acting in such a way might make people feel like they want to kill you. Then, with a swift movement, a long spear shot out. Lin Mo was shocked by the impact. He activated his defensive treasure to block the attack, but the opponent didn't give him time to react. The gap in strength was too great. Bang! The spear effortlessly pierced through the defense treasure and stabbed Lin Mo. He was pinned to the wall. Junior brother, you really don't know anything about timing, do you? The late-stage Foundation Establishment Realm Cultivator side. Why did you have to do this now? Chapter 895. As fragile as dust, Lin Mo widened his eyes at the sudden pain. Regret, anger, and fear flashed through his eyes. But more than anything, there was a refusal to accept defeat. How could he die like this? His path had been smoother than others, and his talent far surpassed them. Resources were within his easy reach. He still had a chance to shine bright and gain the admiration of others. Even in the face of death, he should be calmer than others. If he were to die, he would drag his enemy down with him. He was a genius with numerous resources, and his seniors were all watching him. Many thoughts ran through Lin Mo's mind. He spat out blood. His eyes were bloodshot. He gritted his teeth, grabbed the spear lodged in his chest, and pulled it out. Blood sprayed out. His aura began to rise continuously as if it had been accumulating for a long time and was finally breaking through. He advanced to the late stage of the Foundation Establishment realm. Die. Lin Mo, with a ferocious face, infused all his power into one thrust and hurled the spear at his opponent. The intent was to kill. Everything happened in the blink of an eye. Zhao Qingxue and Lin Ji were shocked. They couldn't react in time. Lin Ji almost fled. He pulled Zhao Qingxue and Lin Mo and tried to run with them. Facing Lin Mo's attack, the Foundation Establishment Realm Senior was surprised. He crushed the spear easily. In an instant, he appeared in front of Lin Mo. Then he pushed him down. He pressed Lin Mo's head to the ground. Thought you had some power? He slammed Lin Mo's head down. His head was almost entirely buried in the soil. He treated him as though he was as fragile as dust. It crushed Lin Mo's pride. Lin Ji wanted to help, but he felt like he was of no use. This was the world of cultivation. Just because you were at the Foundation Establishment realm didn't mean every opponent you faced was weaker than you. Temporary breakthroughs couldn't give a person enough power and strength to fight back. Zhao Qingxue felt how insignificant she was for the first time. She didn't even have a chance to make a move. At that moment, the Foundation Establishment Realm Senior looked at the three people and smiled. You should thank the sex rules. Otherwise, you would be dead. A woman walked to them. The things we need are ready. We can leave now. Then, she looked at the three on the ground. Aren't you killing them? No need, said the Foundation Establishment Realm Senior, and shook his head. Killing within the sect is troublesome. Besides, there is no need to let a group of inexperienced kids ruin our plans. He squatted down, patted Lin Mo's face, and chuckled. Junior brother, how long do you think you can survive once you leave the sect? With that, he turned and left. Lin Mo and the others had no idea about their plans. They just happened to bump into them here. Shortly after, Jiang Hao and Zheng Shizhou appeared in front of the three kids. Even now, they were still suppressed by the aura. They couldn't even get up. No one was around, so nobody had informed the sect. What happened here? Zheng Shizhou asked. Jiang Hao shook his head. Such incidents were common in the world of cultivation, and the same applied within the sect. The only thing they could do was try to avoid them as much as possible. When Lin Mo and the others mentioned that there were more alchemists here, he thought that something might happen. He just didn't expect things to go south so quickly. They probably encountered some spies, Jiang Hao said. Lin Ji and the others were not children. So, Jiang Hao wouldn't keep an eye on them every day. He didn't expect problems to occur so soon. Lin Mo's behavior wouldn't have caused any problems within the sect, but unfortunately, they had run into these people outside. Well, hopefully, Lin Ji had learned a lesson from this. Do we need to inform the disciples of the law enforcement hall? Zheng Shizhou asked. Yes. Jiang Hao nodded. The disciples from the law enforcement hall took Lin Mo away. Since the other two were not injured, they stayed back and completed the sect's tasks. Later, Lu Xingqian also arrived. He was responsible for investigating the situation. Junior brother Jiang, you seem to run into trouble wherever you go, he said. You jest, senior brother. This time, it wasn't me, said Jiang Hao. Tell me what happened. Lu Xingqian said with interest. Jiang Hao remained calm. It seems the three juniors noticed something unusual and confronted somebody about it. The opponent turned out to be too powerful. It was my negligence, senior brother Lu. Junior brother Jiang, you must be joking. It's not your fault. It's good that you found the problem early. That's good. Jiang Hao nodded and looked at Lin Ji and Zhao Qingxue. They hadn't fully recovered yet. They still didn't understand what the cultivation path and the sect were about. Although Lin Ji was constantly beaten in the sect, even he was unaware of how terrifying the sect could be. As for Zhao Qingxue, she had never seen the real side of the sect of the White Moon Lake. Their status was too high. I believe you told me to find something before. Did you find anything? Jiang Hao asked. It was not easy to find that person. Haven't found the person yet. It seems like the sect is intentionally waiting for something. But you definitely found an important clue, Lu Xingqian said with a smile. Is it someone important? Jiang Hao asked. The Lawless Tower has intervened. We still don't know for sure. Lu Xingqian shook his head. After talking for a while, Lu Xingqian left. He seemed very eager. Jiang Hao looked at Zhao Qingxue and Lin Ji. Let's go back and rest. We'll continue patrolling tomorrow. This time, the merit will be significant, and it will help with your task, Jiang Hao said. Regardless, they had indeed achieved something. They were the first to know about the situation here. Jiang Hao didn't know the details, but it seemed unrelated to the Great Thousand God sect and the Heavenly Saints sect. Perhaps, after some time, Lu Xingqian would inform him of the developments. As for Lin Mo, he wouldn't die. How he wanted to proceed from now on would depend on himself. At the enforcement hall, Lin Mo slowly sat up in the courtyard. His eyes no longer had the confident gleam from before. It seemed like he had suffered an unimaginable blow. He had been humiliated and beaten. He covered his face, and tears streamed down his face. Feeling bad, said a young man beside him. Senior brother, I want to be alone right now, Lin Mo said. Do you feel like a failure? Do you feel embarrassed? The man asked. Lin Mo didn't say anything. The man smiled. It's normal. Everyone is arrogant and reckless when they are young. It's not bad, but you need to understand the consequences that come with your actions. Don't think that you are different just because you are from the law enforcement hall. If you think like that, you won't be worthy of the law enforcement hall. Master has high expectations for you. That's why he asked you to follow junior brother Jiang. That person isn't ordinary. You will learn a lot if you follow him. What did you think when you first saw him? Did you feel that he was a mere intersect disciple who relied on Bloodwish path to advance? Did you think that was all he was worth? You didn't want to debase yourself by associating with him. Chapter 896. Learn to respect others. Lin Mo frowned. After a moment of silence, he asked, Isn't that how it's supposed to be? Yes. A young man in a blue robe smiled. But one shouldn't judge someone just by appearance. You should know how many traitors and infiltrators he has encountered, yet he emerges unscathed every time. He always manages to achieve great merits along the way. Observe the people who complete tasks with him. Most of them are always grateful and indebted to him. Those who end up dead are usually spies or traitors to the sect. What do you think of that? Isn't that just because his cultivation realm is higher than ordinary fellow disciples? Lin Mo asked. Junior brother Lin, your aspiration for immortality is commendable, but your understanding of the path of cultivation is not enough. The young man laughed. You need to look beyond appearances. He discovers infiltrators and traitors, and at the same time, he makes his fellow companions respect him. His skills, his demeanor, his state of mind. It's all worth learning from. You need to observe, learn, and experience. Only then will you avoid the situation you are currently facing. The young man looked at the silver door, sighed, and then turned to Lin Mo. We were all young once, but we had to learn. If your thinking doesn't change, then your future might be bumpy. You can decide whether you want to go back to patrol with the group or not. It may be embarrassing, but it's also a part of growth. We will investigate the people from the Candlelight Pill Pavilion, but we won't act for now. When you become strong enough, you can take on the task of finding them. Of course, the requirement would be for you to be able to join the law enforcement hall fully. Around late August, Jiang Hao continued patrolling in the outer sect area. This time, Zhao Qingxue cooperated fully. Lin Ji didn't say anything. They hadn't spoken for the past few days, and Jiang Hao didn't rush to ask about what had happened. People needed time to process things and learn from it. Everyone had their own way of coping with things. However, the incident was enough to prompt them to think deeply about it. The first thing to learn was forgiveness, which became more difficult as one ventured further from the sect. Lin Mo and the others wouldn't bother with that. They would kill at the first instant. Jiang Hao wanted Lin Ji to understand that the sect was the safest and that the outside world was far more dangerous. A slight mistake could make them targets, and their fate would be uncertain. 10 days after the incident, Jiang Hao saw that Zhao Qingxue and Lin Ji were gradually recovering. Both of them seemed different from before. Jiang Hao didn't care much about Zhao Qingxue, but Lin Ji was from his branch, and the spirit beast had helped him grow. Shaoli got along well with him, so Jiang Hao couldn't just ignore him. It was time to make him understand the dangers that lay outside the sect. Senior brother Zheng wasn't ordinary either. They had worked together before, and he knew how to stay safe. Lin Mo returned to the patrol team with his head lowered. He approached and greeted Jiang Hao and Zheng Shizhou. Seniors, Zheng Shizhou was surprised. He nodded. He felt that Lin Mo was different from before. Perhaps he had learned from his actions. Jiang Hao nodded and didn't say much. Let's go. It's time for the patrol. Jiang Hao didn't fly on his sword, but walked instead. He walked on a narrow path full of monster dung. It was unpleasant and difficult to walk on. However, Jiang Hao still led them on. Zheng Shizhou was puzzled, but followed along. Lin Ji frowned. He was confused. Zhao Qingxue looked at them with disdain. Jiang Hao looked at Lin Ji behind him. Any feelings about this road? It's dirty, Lin Ji said softly. How do you feel walking on it? Jiang Hao looked at him. I feel some disgust and skepticism, Lin Ji said truthfully. Is there anything you want to say? Jiang Hao asked. Lin Ji hesitated for a moment. I don't understand why we have to walk this dirty path. I'm leading you on this path. Do you resent me? No, said Lin Ji. The one cleaning the path is a lazy senior who isn't doing the job well. Do you blame him? The one who is dirtying the path is a powerful senior with a powerful beast. Lin Ji was confused. In the sect, you will find many situations which might frustrate you, but you'll have to learn to deal with them. Do not reveal your emotions on your face. You first need to learn to silently observe your surroundings. You shouldn't reveal how you feel in your words as well, said Jiang Hao. Lin Ji only half understood what he was being told, but tried to keep everything in mind. Zheng Shizhou noticed that Jiang Hao was teaching Lin Ji. However, Lin Mo felt conflicted. He wasn't willing to follow such teachings. People are different. You need to find a balance, Jiang Hao said. Each person has different thoughts and feelings. Being compliant and nodding along with everything others say means you aren't being yourself. Later, they arrived at a muddy place where the busy outer sect disciples noticed them. They walked over to greet them. "We're here on patrol. We don't mean to trouble you. Please don't worry about us," Jiang Hao said politely to the outer sect disciples, who were quite surprised but left them on their own. "Refinement realm?" Jiang Hao asked the group. "If I tell you that one of them is at the late stage of the primordial spirit realm, would you still feel superior?" The group was stunned. Jiang Hao didn't explain further. "Learn to treat those you look down upon with respect. It will keep you humble." Lin Ji nodded. "But understand the most important thing. Don't hesitate when it's time to take action," Jiang Hao said. He had discussed similar topics with Chu Chuan before, but never in such detail. Lin Ji, being less exposed to the outside world, found it challenging to understand everything. Whether these lessons would be useful to him would depend on himself. They continued to patrol. The disciples of the Great Thousand God sect had been here for a while, and it seemed like a conflict within the sect would soon erupt. They needed to avoid it as much as possible. Early the next morning, after finishing the patrol, Jiang Hao felt the stone tablet vibrate. A gathering was in order. It would be held at midnight. It had been a long time since the last meeting. Jiang Hao wasn't sure about the situation outside. It was a good opportunity to check for more information about the southern region. There had been remarkable incidents taking place in the sect recently. He decided to exchange patrol times with someone for the day. Unfortunately, the only available patrol was the one at White Moon Lake. That place always had strong individuals around. Jiang Hao sighed. He had no choice but to agree. Chapter 897, True Dragon's Inheritance at Night. Jiang Hao and his companions sat in a grove. The grove was the resting place for those who were on patrol duties. Everyone kept their distance but were vigilant. A barrier was set up around the area to prevent people from getting in. "If you leave, you won't be able to come back here for a while," Jiang Hao said. He laid down a formation in front of everyone. On the surface, it appeared to be an ordinary formation, but other forces were acting as its base. It might not withstand attack from strong individuals, but it was enough to resist foundation building cultivators. After mentioning that they would cultivate, Jiang Hao used his power to cover the surroundings with power to prevent people from prying. Zheng Shijio remained alert, so Jiang Hao didn't need to worry too much. Lin Mo and the others looked at Jiang Hao. They still couldn't accept him as a leader wholeheartedly. Lin Ji listened to everything Jiang Hao said, but he couldn't make Lin Mo and Zhao Qingxue follow him. "This is for you." Lin Mo handed over some spirit herbs he had obtained during the patrol to Lin Ji. "I don't need this much," Lin Ji said. In front of them, he was still the weakest. "Take it. You need it more than we do," Zhao Qingxue said. After hesitating, she said, "Don't think too much about it. After all, we are friends from the same village. We don't know what will happen in the future, but for now, I hope you can live a better life." Lin Ji lowered his head and accepted the things. "We are already at the foundation building realm, and we might be able to reach the golden core realm soon. We can live for hundreds of years. You at the lifeblood refinement realm won't last much longer." Lin Mo gave him more things. He looked somewhat guilty. If it weren't for him, they wouldn't have been in danger in the first place. They wouldn't have had to face humiliation. He was a genius who should have led people to success, not to humiliation. So Lin Mo felt guilty. He didn't want to cause trouble for others, especially for those who were in a lower cultivation realm than him. It made him feel uneasy. Lin Ji accepted the things and silently kept note of them. "What should we do next?" Zhao Qingxue asked. "We should follow senior brother Jiang for now," Lin Mo said. He wanted to see why people admired senior brother Jiang so much. Zhao Qingxue had no particular opinion of him. She thought he was just an ordinary sect disciple with a slightly higher cultivation realm than them. Compared to some other seniors, he didn't seem to differ much. The ordinary disciples were not as good as the ordinary inner sect disciples from the White Moon Lake. There was a difference in status and position. After all, the White Moon Lake was governed by the acting sect master herself. At midnight, Jiang Hao entered the stone tablet. He reviewed everything he had learned from the last gathering and found nothing special. He wanted to see if the others had found anything else, especially about the dragon's nest and the situation in the south. However, Gui was not in the south, so there might be less information from there. Jiang Hao entered the public space and found that Zhang was also there. Others were surprised, but Jiang Hao remained indifferent. Everyone knew that Zhang was going through the inner demon's trial to become an immortal. It seemed she had succeeded. At that moment, her aura was restrained. It didn't fluctuate like before. Senior Dan Yuan was already there. They sat cross-legged and waited for the gathering to begin. "Congratulations, friend Zhang," Senior Dan Yuan said. Zhang nodded. "It's all thanks to you, Senior." Dan Yuan didn't say much. "Do any of you have any cultivation issues?" Everyone shook their heads. They were either waiting for opportunities or had just advanced. They didn't have any problems with their cultivation. Dan Yuan nodded. "Do you have any information regarding Old Man Corpse C?" "He might be in the south," Xing said. Gui was speechless. She was still thinking of returning to the south. "South?" Dan Yuan nodded. "I heard that something happened overseas, and the abyssal sea is flowing backward." Lu nodded. "It is said to be related to the Dragon Clan, but from the 12 Heavenly Kings' perspective, it seems like an opportunity to become an immortal has appeared. If you have more information, please tell me," Dan Yuan said. Apart from that, Senior Dan Yuan didn't say much else. Jiang Hao was surprised by Xing's words. How does he know that Old Man Corpse C was in the south? Is he that well informed, or did he leave the east? Old Man Corpse C didn't seem dangerous, and his presence in the south wasn't a very big concern. The real concern was the end of all things. They were always after terrifying objects and had almost succeeded in unearthing multiple dangerous things. It made people exhausted. After that, the trading began. Zhang said, "The person you wanted me to protect has been secured. He is now within the Academy's range. Nothing should go wrong." Jiang Hao nodded and then looked at Gui. "I have already sent the thing out. Zhang should receive it in the next few days," Gui said. That was the ancient and modern book. Keeping the book to herself would undoubtedly invite more trouble. It was safer to let it go. "Did you visit the grave?" Zhang asked Jiang Hao. Jiang Hao nodded. "What do you need in exchange?" Zhang asked. The reward wasn't discussed before because it was uncertain whether she would succeed. After thinking for a moment, Jiang Hao decided to postpone the reward for a while. The task had been easy, so the reward couldn't be that big either. Zhang didn't have any objections to it. Xing and Jiang Hao's task required Gui, so it couldn't be completed right away. That left only the trade between Lu and Gui. They looked at Gui. They wanted to know what she had gained from her trip to the dragon's nest. "I have already obtained the book," said Gui, and looked at Lu. "I sent it out through a special channel, and I haven't read its contents. Are there dragons beneath the dragon's nest?" Lu asked with curiosity. She got a reward too. The information she received about the Heavenly Spirit Tribe was very detailed. The dragon's nest is not a place for humans to go. Gui sighed. "I thought that with enough luck, it would be much safer to enter. However, I was wrong. After entering, the residual true dragon's aura from the Dragon Clan did not welcome us. Finding the book was relatively easy, but problems arose when we tried to enter the center of the dragon's nest. Our people accidentally triggered the Dragon Clan's inheritance, and they were absorbed by it. The Dragon Clan didn't want the inheritance to fall into the hands of non-dragons, so the remaining power of the true dragon began to attack us. Although I found some things inside, it was still very dangerous." "Where is the dragon's nest?" Zhang asked. She had recently encountered the phantom of the Dragon Clan as well. "At the Jinxin Cliff," Lu said. Zhang was surprised. There was a possibility that Gui was among one of the people who received the blazing luck. She didn't think much about it and listened quietly. As for the location of the dragon's nest, she wasn't interested in it. That place didn't welcome her. "What did you discover?" Xing curiously asked Gui. "I found something," Gui said. "I found a page from the sage's pages. It was possibly from a very long time ago. It had a record of an extremely dangerous creature in the world. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.